You're funny. Okay. So.
I don't believe in luck as a concept.
Oh, I see. Oh, I should not have all of these tabs over on the main screen, so let me go ahead and move those over.
Mayhaps not.
Let's do that, and then move over, and then just take a look at my...
Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got.
I need...
Hey, Pat, you may want to turn yourself up on the stream, by the way.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Is that any better? Well, we'll see in just a sec. Okay. So let's go ahead and...
Nope.
No, not at all? Okay.
So what you want is hit properties under your like voice input. Yeah, and you want to boost it up 300%
Crank that shit.
How
manually.
is this any better? Because I just did that. Hello. I am quiet boy apparently.
No. Also, note I'm on like a lag. So.
No, there is a delay in between. Things.
Let me. Well, darn it.
Note I'm on like a lag. So.
No, there is a delay in between. Things.
Let me.
Oh, then there's that more.
It's maxed out right now.
Oh no, like not
Now
max
it's
it
better.
out, but like okay. So when you know how you open OBS.
Yeah.
All right. So like you see the little cog wheel next to your like mic / auxiliary.
No, I have the because the new OBS just doesn't work for me.
Can you go to properties on it?
Settings, audio.
Like advanced audio property.
It would not. It would not be a Twitch stream if there weren't audio issues.
That's true.
10 out of 10, right? Advanced? No. Microphone noise gate?
It would look something like a volume mixer of some sort.
Yeah.
And like
Are
there will be a place.
are we changing this on Discord or internally on the actual computer?
It would be on the OBS, the recording software.
Oh, okay. Are you doing direct input to OBS, or is it just picking up from? I guess you would have to, yeah, because Discord is not going to be.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, is there any way you could manually type in volume instead of using a slider?
There is not.
All right. So what I want you to do is take this pistol,
Oh my
point it
god.
at your head. No.
Um,
You want me to record it instead, and we'll just give a link for that. Like how bad is he right now?
I didn't
Hold
think
up.
I was that quiet. When I had turned
Like
on.
how bad
Yeah,
is he
you're
right
pretty
now?
I didn't
Hold
think
up.
I was that quiet. Like, it doesn't seem that bad to me.
Anybody else want to listen in?
If you actually just turn down the music in in the actual like Roll20, it should be better. I think it might just be the balancing against that is fucking it up a bit.
Okay, I lowered it
I
a
will.
bit. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I will check once my Twitch stops, fucking about. Once
Why
I-
are you in here? Ree!
Yeah, no, you're still pretty low for some reason.
Where?
Why is everything
Can you hear him? Is the question. Can
Yeah,
you make out his wordy words?
enough, yeah.
As long as it's not like you're not straining to hear him, I think it should be fine.
Yeah, you might just want to like raise your voice a little bit.
Yeah, okay. I'll just do that. Let me shut my door, though.
All right.
I think it also might be in comparison to my microphone because I noticed that I am a lot louder than him.
Okay. So, now we're
Then
here.
You could just turn everybody down. Turn everybody down Discord. That's pretty much a probably better thing.
Good point. And that. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay, technical difficulties right out the gate. All right. So let's go ahead and roll on into it then. Let me take a look at your sheet.
What am I rolling?
Oh. So, your character, Ji Yoo. Would you like to give me a brief description of the character?
She a girl.
She's just a kid and her life is a nightmare.
Well, she is a very small person, only 5'4", 98 pounds, literally a twig. And she, I mean, like, I don't know, like, she's just fucking tiny, and like, she's here to be small.
Be the small? Okay. Alright, well. As of recent times, I would say your character has fallen in a woman's shelter in South Carolina. It's
Okay.
not a necessarily bad place, but it also isn't very well populated, which has kind of helped out here and there. The actual place is more or less a refurbished mental asylum, place that was used way back in the early 20s for soldiers who were suffering from shell shock and PTSD. Nobody really died here. This is just your standard run-of-the-mill places. It wasn't like some horrible monstrous place. That's part of the reason
Foreclosure
why.
due to economical reasons.
Yeah. And eventually it was bought out by a Miss McAllister. She's a very nice woman. She grew up basically on her own and eventually managed to put together enough funds back in the 90s to start development on a search engine. The search engine got pretty popular, but it eventually landed her enough money so that she could have a pretty comfortable life. As a result, she pretty much bought out the place, refurbished it, and it's pretty large. It's a very large, open area. It consists of a 2-story building with 2 large wings. The topmost wing is where you would basically stay. The beds within are more or less queen-sized beds. There's a small footlocker in each room to carry what goods you have. And the whole purpose of the place is to take in unfortunate women who have been, cast aside or currently don't have the money to support themselves while they look for a job or what have
Help
you.
them with all sorts of issues.
Yeah. At the moment, you know of 2 other women who have currently taken up residence within this place as I flip through my pages. You have Charlie. She's a rather tall, athletic build. She was abandoned as a child, and from the majority of the time you spent with her, you found out that she's pretty hot-headed. Gone through quite a few failed relationships as a result. She's heavily spiritual, believing that all the bad things that have happened to her are because one day she'll get like this huge payoff, but I mean, that's not entirely likely. You've also met this woman called Valerie. She's a nice woman, though she suffers from extreme bipolar disorder. She basically has to spend most of her money on her medications, and those medications help her out immensely. Though the few times you've seen her when she's off her meds has been pretty extreme. From 1 hour to the next, she's either manic or depressant, exchanging high highs with low lows over the course of that 1 hour. So, let's go ahead and kick it off. It is the early morning, and you are awoken by the rise of the new sun. The air...
Wait, what did we do with the old one?
It exploded, you spot a new one.
Oh shit, fuck.
No, but, there are windows within your room. It's not a huge room, but it's big enough to hold a bed and whatever stuff you have. There's a metal footlocker at the end of your bed that would hold whatever equipment or goods you would have left over. From what you can tell, and from where you're sitting right now, just beyond the rather thin metal doors, you can hear from the outside the sounds of footsteps and female voices talking back and forth. If you would like to, go ahead and roll a intelligence check to see if you recognize the people.
Okay. How do I do that?
Okay, so I am assuming that you are brand new to WAD then?
I've literally never played WAD. I understand like the basic concepts.
Okay.
I just need to know what the macro is that I would need to type into.
Okay, so in the case of int, if I'm looking at your sheet right, you have 3 dots in it, so you type in /roll space 3d10, and then I put in greater than 8 with, yeah. Wind got me.
So if I okay,
Yeah.
2 successes.
Alright, and now when you get a 10, you get the chance to re-roll that. So you can go ahead and re-roll the 10, and you get 2 successes, and there's a chance that you can get another success out of the extra die. So in that case, you would just roll, yeah.
That's what I wanted to type. Oh well, doesn't matter. Wait, no. Okay, hold on. I need to actually retype that because that particular algorithm does not actually exist.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you recognize the people outside who are talking. It sounds like it's Miss McAllister having a conversation with Charlie. Sounds like Charlie has been digging into some of the websites on the computer, and it might have downloaded a few viruses. Miss McAllister is kind of having a hard time explaining to Charlie that it's not a good idea to get on those dodgy websites, but Charlie just says that she was meant to get on those websites and that she had to know.
I'm guessing there's nothing like interesting in my room. It's just a bed and nothing else, basically.
It'd be the interior of the room is basically a whitewash wall. Basically, like, you have some drywall with sheetrock behind it. It's got a little bit of sound insulation, but it's not enough. Like, if you were to make a cough, they'd probably hear you outside. Your bed is basically a metal frame with a single mattress upon it. It's about a queen size. There'd be some sheets on it, as well as, like, a thick blanket, but that'd be about it. And at the end of your bed, there would be a metal footlocker box that has a small lock on it for you.
Okay. And it sounds like they're just directly outside my door?
Yeah.
Was there a window?
There is not a window towards the outside, unfortunately.
Fuck.
So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and pull you over to here. I'm going to go ahead and move the tokens of the people out and around. Excuse my poor map drawing skills, but...
No, this is perfectly serviceable.
You can overhear Miss McAllister and Charlie outside having that little bit of a conversation. There are no windows on the doors. It's just a simple metal door, kind of styled in the old 50s, where it's just you have the thicker bolted metal plates on the outside acting as a seal. It's kind of like a headboard, sideboard, and floorboard. And then you have like just a flat metal panel with one of those old handle that you push in doors that you like slide it open. Pretty much everything in this room is frigid cold, because it's tile flooring and it's this disgustingly white, sterile alabaster pigment tile. There's no patterns in it other than the individual grout between the tile panels.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just head outside and face my fate.
As you step outside, Miss McAllister gives you a pretty wide smile. She's been pretty kind to you since you've gotten here. She doesn't exactly pry about whatever your past life is. She's more so just like an old, mousy little lady who's quite happy to just provide for people. Whereas Charlie, upon seeing you, gives you a wide smile and says, "Oh, it's so great to see you! How was your rest?"
Restful. And I'll just kind of give a wide berth. Start stepping past.
As you walk by Miss McAllister, she kind of gives you a smile, but you can see within the back of her eyes just this little sparkle that says, "Help me."
Fuck that, I'll keep walking.
Okay. So as you continue down the hallway, this hallway is basically shaded the same color as the rest of the place. The tiles are an obtrusively white pigment. The walls are whitewashed. It's bland. There's no posters or anything decorating the walls. But the thing that does break up the monotony is the individual shelvings that you walk past. They've been retrofitted to be basically sort of like wooden lockers, though it's kind of expected that you buy a lock of your own if you're going to use one of these lockers. It's usually what's used to hold like clothing, more or less stuff that you wouldn't mind going missing if somebody decided to break in the middle of the night. They're pretty nice. It's a darker wood, so it does very well to clash with the already pretty bland exterior of this particular location. Additionally, down the hallway you have a very large Turkish carpet with very vibrant colors of reds and greens dancing across each other. That is basically what everybody's kind of just designated as the reading nook. Towards the back there is a single bookshelf that is about a quarter of the way full. Not exactly well stocked, but not completely barren either.
I'm guessing this is not like an academic's bookshelf. This is more like just like novels and like actual works of fiction.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, ignore that shit. I have no use for fantasy.
Oh. As you continue down the hallway, there is one of the larger double doors that leads out into the courtyard. Now, this is where a lot of the money has gone in. There are very large windows that sort of show off the bright light from the outside. You can see up into the sky, which is clear and crystal blue. Rows of oak trees have been replanted in this location, through which the roots have managed to grow out and dig into the ground, twisting along and giving it a nice little sort of pattern into the ground. It's like a twisty bumps that intertwine amongst each other. Beautiful rose bushes have been planted against the wall towards the back, and you can see towards the back of the wall there is the very large windows that lead into the pretty bland and beige cafeteria. Of course, no one's exactly working the cafeteria right now, and it doesn't look like any food has been set out.
I've been here for like at least a couple days, right?
Yeah, it's been a few days.
So, do I know like who runs the cafeteria and like how that whole situation goes down?
It would actually be Miss McAllister who usually does the food, and she usually does stuff by request. Simply because she likes to call in people to do the grocery shopping, sort of like the Uber Eats service, and then she'll actually make it in the huge industrial style kitchen that's in the back there. And I mean, also know far towards the south, past the courtyard, is a couple cubicles that have computers in them, and you can go ahead and look up stuff if you would like.
Oh, and real quick, where are the smoking areas around here?
That would be in the courtyard or out the front.
Okay, cool. Well then, in clear defiance of these rules, I'm going to I'm gonna head to the. I'm assuming this is a bathroom here.
Yes, it is a
Okay.
communal bathroom.
Yeah, I'll head into one of the stalls and light up a cigarette there.
Okay. So, as you do that, you hear some footsteps shuffling in. Someone lets out a loud yawn before you eventually hear the sound of water beginning to pour into a basin. Clearly somebody is pretty much getting into the bathtub at the moment. From that, you can also see a very thick layer of steam wafting over the stall's doorway, and you can tell maybe after a few more minutes the place would basically just be filled with wonderfully herbalescent scents and exotic
Maybe it's
mist.
Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline. Only one person uses these kinds of shampoos, mostly because she's the person who actually has her family still somewhat supporting her from a distance. That'd be Valerie. She doesn't particularly care much about most things, especially when she's on her meds, so she probably didn't even bother to mention anything to you on her way in, even if she did see you.
I don't give a fuck either way. Like,
But yes,
yeah, I just finish off my cigarette, throw it in the tank. I'm sure I've done this before. There might still be some remains.
yeah, fair enough. So you'd hear, as you finish up your cigarette, from Valerie, "Hey, Charlie wants to see us later. She's like talking about this game."
Why do you think I would have an interest in games?
Apparently she went to like a place she wasn't supposed to go, and she also said that she'd lock us in our rooms if we didn't do it.
That doesn't seem accurate.
She
And also illegal.
I mean, I don't really know, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
I guess I just won't be here when she tries to lock us in.
Okay. Scoots out.
I'm gonna go to the shower head, and just to fuck with her, I'm gonna turn on the hot water in this shower to see if I can steal it from. Wait, no, she's taking a bath. Never mind.
Yeah.
Fuck. She already has all the hot water she wants. Damn it. I missed my opportunity.
You missed it. You lost your chance for the pranks, bro.
Because shit only comes once in a lifetime, yo. Anyway. Enough Eminem.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
I'm just gonna... Hey, what's this about holding us up like prisoners?
So Miss McAllister just kind of twirls on her heel, looking very surprised as to what you're saying, and then Charlie speaks. "Oh, I found a thing, something really neat. It's like this old game that pagans used to play. It's called hide and seek. It says that we'll be able to
Wait,
have one wish."
Wait.
What?
wait. It's a game that pagans used to play called hide and seek.
She nods. At which point Miss McAllister looks relieved that you weren't talking to her.
Can I read into that particular look at all?
Empathy?
That's
Oh, wait,
concerning.
that'd be wits empathy.
Oh shit, yeah, no, I can't. I literally can't. I'd be rolling 0 dice.
Well, it'd just be a luck die. It'd be 1d10.
Fuck it, let's do it. Nope.
Here we go. She just looks concerned. It was like that fear that you get when somebody's talking to you and you have no idea what they're talking about. But that's about all you can get. I mean, what else? What did you say to Charlie, by the way? Sorry.
I was just like, I was asking, what's this about us being locked up like prisoners?
Okay, you heard me say, like, it's a pagan game. Okay, yeah. Miss McCallum.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm so impressed by your discovery.
She quickly shakes her head and she says, No. I found it in this book. It looked really, really old and it smelled really bad. It looked like it was made out of skin. But the book said that if we play this game and we win, then we can pretty much have whatever we want. Like, we can straight up erase a part of ourselves that we hate.
Have fun erasing yourself. I'm gonna walk out the door.
Yes. Is Charlie white? Yes, she is.
Clearly!
Oh my gosh. So as you step out into the courtyard, you're greeted with the sound of chirping birds and the warmth of the sun bearing down upon you. It's pretty nice out here. The scent of the roses dances through the air, wafting through the breeze and up into the air above you. It's pretty peaceful out here. Nice and quiet. Empty.
Just like me. Anyway. I'm gonna head over to the where the computers are at.
Okay.
Would I know if there's a particular computer that Charlie favors?
You would probably be safest not taking the first one. She kind of is all over the place.
I'm gonna check to see if this one's completely fucked.
So, I would like for you to roll Wit's computer.
Luck die!
Alright! Alright, so you turn this computer on, and you immediately are hit with the loud ear rape of meatspin.com.
I'll just turn off the speakers.
It doesn't work.
Huh.
Turning off the computer doesn't work either. It just keeps going and going and going.
I turn it up louder and leave.
The whole room is filled with the sounds from meatspin.com. As you leave and exit the door, you can vaguely hear it as the door shuts and seals.
Well, that was something I didn't need.
What an exploration.
Do I have any money right now?
Let me do a roll. Okay. You have $19.
Awesome. Wow, $19. There's so much you can get with $19.
Go ahead and roll Wit's Int for me.
Two successes.
Okay. You know, on occasion you've heard Miss McAllister talk about job opportunities, sort of like the odd jobs that you'd expect around town. And she had said some time ago that there was somebody actually looking for someone to do some quick work for him. Basically, what he was searching for was for someone to help with some... give me a moment, I've got to look through my notes. He needed some help working with medical equipment out at the hospital.
Oh, shit.
His name was Riley. Okay, hold on. His first name was Riley. Give me just a moment. His name was Riley Klein.
I just kind of laid around the shelving here. Hey, Miss McAllister, you said that Klein guy, the medical equipment, is he still looking for someone?
Miss McAllister turns around and gives you a bright smile before she says, yeah, he's still looking for someone. He just needs some help getting everything put together, and a little bit of help working with some of the, people at the anesthesiology department.
Ji Yoo contemplates the fact that he's asking for outside help from a non-licensed professional, and is like, yeah, this seems okay.
He's not asking for like medical personnel sort of stuff. He's asking for somebody to help him like move equipment and stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I have no muscles though.
It's rolling stuff around. Let's be fair, it's a hospital, everything's on wheels.
I mean, to be fair, I'm also like -20 on everything.
You'll be fine. Miss McAllister says, I think he's paying $100 per day that you help him out.
$100 is a lot better than not $100. All right, where's he at?
He's at the children's hospital, south of
Okay,
here.
bye.
10 out of 10.
Walk out of here.
Escape. Okay, give me just a moment. Wow. As I casually do this really quick. I need to make sure that I didn't accidentally leave stuff on pages, because I kind of graffitied on my own stuff.
Welcome to being a GM. I do that shit all the time.
Yes. Don't mind me just turning into a Skaven for a second there. Okay. All right. So you
Dear
hop on.
God. I think I've been here.
You hop on the bus, and it takes like about an hour to get to the children's hospital. It's on a little bit more of a rural side of town. It's been built up to kind of be out of the way and to have the ability for the kids that are sort of coming out of surgery and stuff to walk outside and get some fresh air. Of course, the walls are just covered with the most tacky random art you could find. A lot of it too is the handprints or finger paints of the children who've been through the hospital. But the moment you step through the front door, you're greeted by a receptionist who's wearing a nurse's outfit. She's a middle-aged lady. She has those like pink glasses with the little protectors that keep them on her face, and she has her hair pulled back into that beehive. As you walk in, she gives you a half smile, and she says, do you have an appointment with someone?
Yeah, Dr. Klein, he was requesting some help.
Oh, okay. I'll call him down. It looks like he's just needing some help getting some of the equipment from the storage location towards the new wing that just got built up. He's a really nice guy. I think you'll like him.
Cool.
Cool. As she begins she begins paging this. No thanks, I'm gay.
Fuck off.
And then Riley says that. But anyway, She pages the guy, the standard, Dr. Klein, can you come to the front desk, Dr. Klein? And then, like, about 5 minutes later, this pretty well-dressed man walks in with a doctor's jacket covered in handprints and finger paints, sort of walks out towards the hallway. He has this short-cut brown hair, a rather rough-looking beard, and probably the deepest pits for bags that lie under his eyes. This guy doesn't look like he slept for the past year.
Oh, cool. We match.
He walks up towards you and extends a hand to shake, and he says, "Hi, I'm Riley Klein. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm assuming that you're the one who was sent by Miss McAllister, yes?"
Yes. I do not shake his hand.
He just sort of puts his hand down and he says, "All right, then. We have just a few bits of equipment to move over, a few machines, nothing too big. I am a bit curious. Were you looking for any sort of jobs in the field? Because Miss McAllister has told me some very interesting things about you." And he starts walking, sort of expecting you to follow behind him.
What exactly did she say? I'll follow after a second.
She said that you're a lot smarter than you look, and you've had quite a lot of information relating to the medical field, usually things that denote a student of medicine.
One could say that I have dabbled.
He just sort of raises an eyebrow at you as you and him get into an elevator and begin the uncomfortable climb up 10 floors. But he sort of seems to dispense the thought, and he says, "Well, do you have any experience as a nurse?"
At some point, yes.
Okay. Do you have any official documentation I could see? Because I'd be willing to give you a legitimate job out of this.
No, never finished anything. I could probably try to find out how much in debt I am. Would that be sufficient?
That could work. How are your grades?
Exceptional.
Well, that's good to hear. The door is open, and you're pretty much given the sight of this rather empty hallway leading on a dimly lit wing of the hospital. The walls here aren't touched by the art that seems to permeate below. Instead, it's whitewash. You can see that some of the panels have been moved apart for electrical work to have been going in, and Dr. Klein seems to just casually stroll into this hallway with his footsteps echoing hollow clunks throughout the hallways.
What exactly are we moving?
Just some of the equipment that measures heart rate, blood pressure, etc. We're also going to be moving some of the bags of blood that we have from cool storage to more cool storage downstairs. We also have some cots and stuff that we need to get out of this location, simply because they're basically rotting at this point.
Why are you guys so understaffed here?
Well, we don't really have a lot of funding here. The local governor is a little bit more interested in supporting local businesses rather than hospitals.
That seems backwards. Fucking capitalism, am I right?
He shrugs and he says, "I do my job regardless. And I mean, even if this hospital didn't exist, I'd be doing home practice, so..."
Cool.
So he leads you on, you begin moving equipment with him. It's just the basic rolling stuff around. Give me a sec. Looking
Nobody ever wants to talk about capitalism. God damn.
He's a doctor. He doesn't want to think about it. Okay. So as you guys are sort of working along, Riley just sort of begins talking to you while he's helping you move stuff. He says, "So where are you from?"
Not here.
Ah, cool. Mysterious. I bet that gets you all the boyfriends in the world.
Yeah, I'm just rolling in them.
Mm-hmm. So anyways...
I'm not interested.
I
just look him dead in the eye.
He says, I'm actually gay, so, I mean...
I just don't respond like... Whatever.
He shrugs and he says, so you've been staying at the hospice with Miss McAllister, correct?
Yes.
How's it been?
Quiet. Well, until today.
I've gotten a call. Something about porn.
It's been.
Huh. To be fair, I find that's like quite entertaining.
Well, that's an opinion, I guess. I suppose you're allowed to feel that.
Okay. Do you have hemophobia before we get along with this?
Oh, no.
Okay, good. He walks into what appears to be a large steel door, and he opens it to a wash of cold air which rushes over you. Inside is just a bunch of preserved blood bags, all labeled with the particular types, and he begins shoveling them all over essentially into what appears to be a very large cooler on wheels. It's made out of steel and colored that disgusting gunmetal gray as the rest of this fridge. And he just sort of it keeps on going on with it, sort of waiting for you to join in or not.
We're just like moving blood bags right now.
Okay. Yeah, he's just moving blood bags into the thing.
Yeah, I'll make sure that they're like organized.
Okay. He just sort of clears his throat and he says, well, if it means anything, I do have an organization that I work for that might interest you. They have a little bit of people all over the world. They kind of are more focused on traveling. They're individuals who are nurses who have taken the time to actually go beyond where they originally came from, say their school, their hometown, whatever, and it gives them the chance to go to like Africa, to Europe, wherever they're needed to act as nurses or medical personnel.
Is this a charity thing, or?
It's mostly charity, but the company does get quite a lot of money from donations from the government. So, paycheck is questionable as to where it comes from and why, so...
Oh, fun. I love shady money.
He shrugs. I mean, I'm giving you $100 under the table for today.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna be arrested for this.
Fair
Can't
enough.
exactly be called on malpractice for moving something.
I mean, heck, I've been arrested for tax evasion.
Maybe you shouldn't evade taxes.
I like pushing buttons. Gosh. Conversationalist. Anyway.
It's my strongest suit.
You guys begin moving stuff around, putting it towards the... Jumanji. Putting it back towards the,
Jumanji. Oh, sorry. Please continue.
It starts bringing it downstairs, at which point he sort of writes out a slip of paper, what appears to be information relating to this job, and he hands it to you. And he says, it'll give you the chance. I think the next place they've got happening is over in Zimbabwe.
Wow, Zimbabwe.
Yeah, they're calling a lot of the people down there because there's been a small outbreak of smallpox.
Smallpox, really?
He nods.
I thought we'd cured that already.
Not in unfortunate countries, unfortunately.
Do they require some kind of license? Because I don't have that.
Not to give shots.
I'll consider it.
Cool. As you guys move the blood bags up and away, he sort of shoves it into the larger fridge that is towards the bottom floor. This one colored enough to be not as enticing to the children. He steps outside of the fridge and he hands you a $100 bill. And he says, if you want some more work tomorrow, we've got to do some basic spring cleaning. We're going to be repairing some of the shoddy work that the company that we called in to fix the upper floors did. If you're interested at all.
Well, definitely went to college to become a maid, so...
Yeah, me too.
See you around.
He waves. And you gonna head back? Or what do you want to do with that $100?
I'm going to go to a local convenience store and have it broken by buying another carton of cigarettes and a lighter.
Okay. So, you said 20s, sorry? What did you want it broken into, sorry?
I'm just like, whatever they'll fucking give me back. Like,
okay. Okay, let me look up prices really quick.
be about like, for a small pack, it's like, I think it's like $10, $12, I don't know.
Okay, so I'd say you end up with $85 left over.
Sweet. Wait, is this including the 19 that I already had?
Yeah, this is including that 19.
Jesus.
You're rich, man.
I'm not even gonna bother writing this down. I don't think this money's sticking around. I have my doubts.
See what happens. So, after purchasing that, what is your next course of action?
I'm gonna smoke about 3 of them on my way back.
Okay. Okay.
This day's been weird.
Yeah, it has been quite weird. Are you gonna head back?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me just a moment. Okay. So, you head back to the woman's shelter. Let me move tokens around. And as you step inside, you can see that there is a person actually standing at the front desk. It is a shorter guy. He's wearing what looks like an officer's uniform. He doesn't have a badge on, but he does have a firearm on his hip, and he has the standard affair of equipment, handcuffs, zip ties, pepper spray, taser. He seems to be talking to Miss McAllister. He has a pretty serious expression on his face, and so does Miss McAllister.
I'm going to very quietly slip by so as not to be noticed.
As you are walking, well, let's do this. Do you want to try a stealth on this?
Hell yes.
Alright. This will be, Dex stealth.
3 successes.
Okay.
No, thank you.
So you successfully make it past this guy. However, you do catch a few snippets of their conversation. From what you can tell, it sounds like this guy is from some sort of security company, and he's saying that they have lost some book, something rather important and something that has been stolen from them during the night before. Miss McAllister seems to keep on claiming that she's never seen this book, she's never heard of it, and he says it's distinctive, it has a very pungent smell. If it doesn't show up, then I might have to do an investigation myself.
Sorry, I'm eating chips.
Take your time.
I just want to listen from the doorway.
Okay. Miss McAllister just sort of crosses her arms and she says, well, I mean, I can just get the police to get you out of here. And he says, actually, you can't, because we own the police. This is our area. She's like, that's bullshit. And he just sort of smiles at her. He looks quite legit with what he's saying. At which point Miss McAllister says, I'll see if I can't talk to the girls to see if any of them ended up with this book. At which point he says, thank you, I appreciate your time. I'll be waiting here until you find it. At which point McAllister starts shuffling up towards the door, opens the door, sees you, squints at you. What?
I just look at her and it's like, feds?
I don't know. I don't know at all. This man is intimidating.
He seemed like an asshole. I wouldn't call him intimidating.
Have you heard of this thing, this book, or whatever?
You mean like the one that Charlie was mentioning earlier?
I was really hoping that she didn't have something like that.
I'm not getting involved. Actually,
but
hold on. Did he mention a reward?
He said it was somewhere around $500 for the book.
Cool.
At least that was his first offer.
Charlie!
So as you open the door, you find Charlie currently sitting in the middle of the floor with this disgusting thing laying in front of her. It's a book, alright, but it appears as if the binding were made out of bone. The actual covers of the book seem to be made out of this thick black leather, which an indescribable odor just seems to come off of it and permeate through her room. The pages are almost like they're made out of a thin cartilage. And she looks up at you with a very, very wide smile. That's a smile you recognize. She's not on her meds.
Charlie, there's a nice man outside who wants his LARP prop back. We're giving it back to him.
LARP prop? I found this fair and square, and we're gonna play the game.
No, we're not.
The table's been set and the guests have been invited. We're going to play hide and seek. It's gonna happen. At which point she just sort of very quickly reaches up and draws her thumb up towards her mouth and bites it very hard. You see a
I'm
sort
gonna close the door, turn to Miss McAllister, call the police.
The moment you shut the door and turn around, you see that Miss McAllister has vanished. The door is just wide open, and from through the windows and outside what was a starry night, it appears as if it has shifted towards just pitch black, as if it were midnight.
Okay. All right.
It is terrifyingly quiet here. But in the distance, it sounds like there's clocks ticking.
All right. Just gonna head back in here and wake the fuck up. She's just gonna lay down in her bed.
Did you shut your door?
It's fucking locked. Like, if it has a deadbolt, like, hell yes.
Alright. About an hour passes. and that ticking clock sound begins to grow a bit louder. As you're sort of sitting there, you hear what sounds like footsteps walking around outside. They're kind of slow, a little bit paced out. But they don't stop. They just seem to be pacing outside your door.
She's going to count down from 100 and then start counting the steps if they don't stop.
It seems to go into a bit of a pattern. It's hovering around the door as if it were searching for someone. It seems to walk about 10 steps towards the door, stop, and then walk 10 steps away from the door, and then stop. This lasts all through the 100 seconds.
Is there a gap underneath the door where I can see like light?
Yes,
I'm just gonna get as close as I can to the floor as possible and look out.
Perception. That'd be wits. Composure.
3 successes. Oh, and a 10. Three successes.
Peering outside, you see what looks like a large figure. Very, very tall. Its limbs quite skinny compared to its proportions. Upon its back are what looks like angel's wings. However, they're strapped together by these long, spiked belts. Its body is wrapped with this heavy straitjacket, and its face is bound, and its head is basically bound by a burlap sack. It seems to constantly be pacing around the area just outside of your doorway. As you're staring at it, it seems to stop. It takes a moment to gaze around the room, and you can see the very vague indents where its eye socket should be. It turns slowly towards the door and begins walking towards it, pausing just inches in front of it. It lets out a low groan before turning once more and walking back towards the wall that is at reception. Rather than opening the door, it simply phases straight through the wall. And the footsteps stop.
Gonna pull out a cigarette. Gonna light it. Gonna take a long drag. And then I'm going to try to put it out on like the heel of my hand to see if I feel pain.
Take a bashing. Yes, you indeed feel a searing pain as the end of the cigarette butt cuts right into your flesh.
Well then. Alright, so... Okay. It seems that I'm actually experiencing this. So let's play into it. She'll step outside.
Stepping outside, you can hear that dim clicking of the clock still echoing through the hallway. It seems as if the lights have dimmed somewhat since their original position, and all of the windows reaching up that you can see into the sky, you can tell, are basically blacked out. The doors within the hallway, save for yours, are closed. And it appears as if some effort has been taken into moving the bookcase slightly outwards as if to fit a person behind it.
Is there anyone behind it? Like,
From
I'm just
here,
gonna take if I can see anyone.
from here, you can't see anyone.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Charlie's door and test the handle.
It is unlocked.
I'm gonna very quietly peek inside to see if the book is there.
As you open the door, it appears as if the book is currently there, lying upon the floor, closed and sealed with what looks like a leathered belt.
Just gonna very quietly slip into this room, lock the door behind me, and pick up the book.
The lock closes with a heavy thunk. The metal that secures it into place, seemingly a bit stronger than you remember. It brings you a little bit of comfort as you step into the room and get your hands across the strange leathered book. It's warm to the touch, and occasionally, if you were to look at it for a long enough amount of time, it appears as if it breathes.
I already know that it resembles some pieces of anatomy, like bone and tissue and all that shit. Can I establish... could I make, like, a medicine check to, like, medically examine this shit? Like...
Go for it?
Like, see, like, how the fuck it's still alive, if the tissue is from a human.
Int medicine?
I don't think this plays into either of my medicine specialties, so...
Unfortunately, it does not.
Doesn't matter, I'm still rolling big time. With only one success on my 7d10!
It's cool. So from what you can derive from this strange book, it appears as if it is currently... It looks as if there are veins working through the leather binding, that the spine itself actually is currently facilitating some form of nerves, and the pages seem to be, well, the words on the pages seem to be evidence of blood veins. The heart you can't exactly find, but you can tell that there is some sort of a circulatory system within it. This is a living entity. Though you can't...
Does it have a pulse?
It does have a pulse, yes.
Okay. I'm going to pull out my lighter and see if it reacts to pain.
As you bring the lighter towards the edge of the book, it does not char, nor does it seem to react. It's as if the fire has no effect upon it.
I will pinch the flesh.
It simply gives way under your finger, but it doesn't tear or bruise as you would expect. It's just strange feeling within your fingertips, like gelatin beneath plastic.
Alright. Fun. Great. I'm going to check under the door again to see if that entity is still there.
This time, there is something else. I would like for you to roll perception once more.
3 success.
Looking outside, you see a very thin-framed woman. Hair cut quite similarly to yours. Clothing exactly the same as yours. She's facing away, staring towards the lockers. That's when she turns towards you. It's a spitting image of you, exactly the same, very bland and bored-looking expression upon her face. The big thing is that she appears to be carrying what looks like a knife in her hands. And she looks very intent on looking for someone.
Just gonna wait. Just gonna observe. Gonna try to not vomit.
In the same fashion that you would sneak out of the room, with almost perfect silence, she slowly walks towards the cafeteria door, disappearing behind the lockers, to the tune of the door opening and closing with a loud creak.
At the very least, it's a good idea. I should get a knife. I'm gonna step outside.
Are you keeping the book on you, or are you leaving it there?
Oh, hell yes, I'm keeping this book.
Okay.
It's a medical marvel.
Did you read it at all, or are you just gonna like...
No!
Okay. Oh, man. So, you are free to move around.
She's just gonna... Yeah, I'm gonna check around this this bookshelf now.
Okay. The lockers are actually unlocked. Obviously, nobody really bought any locks to put on this to hide anything. So you're free to take a look inside. If you would like to make a wits investigation roll, you can.
Alright. Luck die!
Let's do it!
Nope!
Close. On the interior of this particular bookshelf, you find nothing more than a few leftover rags, simple pieces of cloth that are used for bathing. They don't appear like they're clean. In fact, on the edges of them, it's almost as if there are slight blood stains.
How large are these towels?
Are
Are they just like normal like bath towels, or are they like beach towels?
they're like the little handkerchief-sized towels that you use for like washing
hand
your
towels.
face. Yeah.
Okay. I'll take a couple, just in case. You never know.
Okay.
And then you said that the bookshelf had been moved earlier, right?
Yeah, this one over here had been moved.
Where? I'm not seeing it.
Far right end of the hallway.
Gotcha.
Taking it. Yeah.
Just gonna quietly move up here to see what I can see in the courtyard.
Okay. Let me do it.
And if it's not clear, I am trying to hide.
Oh, I gotcha. No need to worry. I'm kind of doing line of sight rules if you're in a different room or something like that, where if a creature does not have line of sight on you, then it's not going to see you. However, even if you're stealthed, if it has line of sight on you, unless you're invisible, then it will see you.
Cool.
Of course, that also depends on if it's distracting. There's a lot of stuff, but anyway.
Right. I know how it works.
Peering through the window upon the large double doors, it leads into the courtyard, which is now dimly lit, almost pitch black in the night. At the dead center of this courtyard is what appears to be a single pedestal, on the top of which appears to be one of those old, grimy-looking clocks of the, 20th century. The arrows upon it seem to be both pointing towards midnight exactly, and although the clock is ticking, the hand seems to only click forward and then click back, as if time were not moving at all.
Cool. Is that the only thing out there?
That is the only thing out there, yes.
Okay. Going to quickly peer around this shelf to make sure there's nothing further down the hall.
Looking down the hallway, you do not see any of these entities you'd seen earlier. Instead, it just seems dimly lit, leading on towards the doorways on either side of the hallway, and the bookshelf, of course.
Is there anything on this shelf that has weight to it? Is there anything I could throw?
What's investigation? It's a locker. Yeah.
Hey!
Oh,
Roll it
awesome.
again! Alright, one success.
So, opening this up, you find something that, probably Valerie had, smuggled away within one of these lockers. It is a bottle of some unrecognizable liquid. It is this dark brown. Within, the substance appears to be so viscous that if you were to pour it out of the bottle, it would probably continue pouring itself. But the bottle itself weighs probably about 8 pounds. It's pretty hefty in your hand.
I'm gonna smell it real quick. It's exactly what I think it is, isn't it?
It is probably the most strong-smelling alcohol you've ever experienced in the world. It burns the hairs within your nose.
I don't know. I've had some crazy college days.
This is worse than that.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm taking that shit. Fucking antiseptic at this point.
Absolutely.
Just gonna very quietly move up to this shelf, keep looking. I'm looking out for movement of anybody. I'm keeping my eyes on the bookshelf mostly at the end of the hall.
Perception.
One success.
One success. You hear from a distance the sound of very slow footsteps once more. It seems to be coming from the cafeteria. The only reason you were able to hear this was because the doors to the cafeteria are rather weak. They don't have much insulation in them. But you can tell something is coming towards your hallway.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna use my extremely small frame to see if I can shove myself in a locker temporarily. Can I fit? Like, I'm 5'4", literally 0 pounds.
Deck stealth?
Let's fucking go! Shove this nerd in a locker. 0 successes, hell yes!
You hear this really odd sound. And you just barely manage to sort of halfway tuck yourself into the locker as this sort of weird, warping, disgusting sound like liquid being pushed forward and ebbing around some strange shape. At this point, the only thing you can do is just kind of have the locker door open and just hope that it covers your body enough. This creature steps around the corner. You can hear it from the last time. You can see as it comes closer.
Just gonna hold my breath.
Its feet stop just at the outside of the locker door. It peers around the door, looking towards the wall behind you, but it doesn't look so far as to find your position.
I'm just chilling. Just not gonna breathe.
It begins walking once more, disappearing around the corner of the other lockers.
I'm going to wait an additional 15 seconds before coming out of the locker.
You made it out. You are back to the quiet of the hallway.
Gonna look back to the bookshelf at the end of the hall. It still looks like it hasn't changed at all, has it?
No, it hasn't changed at all.
Okay. Just gonna...
So, I do want to explain why he didn't see you too. I'm kind of considering places like that hiding places, in quotes. So if you were to get under a bed, if you were to get into a locker or something like that, then you basically get automatic successes that are just dependent on what you are hiding in.
Okay.
The only way you could have failed that is if you crit failed, so.
Neat.
But you can go ahead.
Oh shit, wait, hold on. I'm gonna open this door.
Putting your hand upon the handle, you find that it echoes through the hallway with a hollow clunk. This door is locked.
That's fair. Just gonna move on to the next door.
It opens into what appears to be one of the empty rooms. The mattress has been stripped from the bed and is instead just left with the metal barring and the wire frame that typically holds up the mattress. The interior is completely empty. And it even seems as if the footlocker has been moved away.
Can I see the footlocker in the room?
Nope, it is gone.
Cool. Move on to the next one.
Similar story. You open up the door and it is completely vacant. Metal frame is the only thing that remains. Whilst the footlocker is completely gone.
Gonna check out the bookshelf before I even get to this door.
What's investigation?
Cool. Luck die. I'm dead.
Wow. So, out of GM mode here for a second. There was a trap there anyways.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, you open up the bookshelf, at which point a massive blast of white light fills your vision, followed by a sudden ringing in your ears. Roll Resolve Composure for me.
Oh, shit. I got that in spades with one success.
You barely managed it. It appears as if this cabinet had been filled with a strange phosphorus powder. The moment it made contact with the air, it suddenly exploded into a brilliant white. It blinds you momentarily and deafens you for a few short seconds after that. The moment your ears clear, you hear the sound of hurried footsteps beginning to sprint from the fucking hell. The front office, the front area.
This is like, it swings open and there's like, is there an area inside that I could climb into?
You would not be able to climb inside of this bookshelf. There's little like struts that hold up the books and it's spaced all the way up. This would be like cramming yourself in like a meter by meter box. It's just not big enough.
Okay. Very quickly then, I'm going to move back to this door and step inside.
Okay. I'm assuming you lock it.
Chill. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill here for a second.
Are you gonna look under the door and see what happens?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Okay. One success.
You can only hear the footsteps as they approach. They get quite loud, and eventually you see the feet of what appear to be boots? Combat boots? Digging in a little bit deeper, you can see that it appears to be a man cloaked in a heavy, heavy blanket. All around the blanket's been binded by these strange, thorny vines that snake around his body. Upon his head, and covering his hair and the back of his head, there is a mask. It is a traditional theater mask, one of a quite happy on the left and quite sad on the right. It sprints head first into the bookshelf, actually shattering it to pieces before it sort of stumbles backwards. It looks around, twitching its head in all directions, snapping it from side to side, and even diagonally, in strange and inhuman motions, before it very quickly sprints back towards the front, running through the front office. After a few more moments, the footsteps vanish.
Gonna wait about 10 seconds. Poke my head out. Nothing in the hall right now?
Nothing in the hall right now besides the remains of what was the bookshelf.
I'm gonna pick up just a random book. If there are any.
You pick up a single book out of random. Appears to be Where the Red Fern Grows. Pretty nice book.
Oh shit, it's symbolic! Someone go read Where the Red Fern Grows, tell me all the symbology!
It's just a random book.
I'm gonna peer into the cafeteria.
Peering into the cafeteria, it appears completely empty. Through the actual window, you can see that the tables have been set, actually, though. Let me look through my notes. The tables are set with fine china and porcelain. In the place of napkins, there are oak leaves, decorated with glitter and gold. Silverware is set to the side appropriately, and it appears as if the wine glasses there are filled with a thick pine tar. 3 of them have been drank.
Cool. Cool. Just gonna very quietly move over to the actual
door
kitchen
is
area.
locked.
Oh, the door is locked.
Yes. Pressing upon the bar which holds the door shut reveals nothing more than the loud clanking sounds of it trying to force open. The door is locked.
I'm gonna take a moment. I'm gonna unscrew or uncork the bottle of shit alcohol. I'm gonna shove one of the hand towels into it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start soaking that rag.
You do so.
I'm not happy about this. Just gonna very quietly head over to the other door. Same story.
Once again, you reach towards the bar upon the door. With a loud throttling clank, the door is locked.
Well, all roads lead to Rome. Gonna head back here, check the door. I'm not gonna open it.
Looking within the courtyard, it is the dim gray that you'd seen before. That same clock, still perched outside, in the dead center of the courtyard.
Is the door locked?
It is not locked.
That's the worst.
Fuck that!
I'm gonna check this door to see if I have any other options.
So, as you reach towards the handle and turn it, it does not appear to be locked. You are not barred from entry.
Can I check under the door to see if I can see inside?
Perception.
2 success. Oh, hold up. 2 success.
2 successes. You can see within is nothing more than a pitch-black room. You don't hear the sound of any footsteps, nor the sound of breathing as you would expect if somebody had been standing around after running for so long. Instead, you can vaguely make out the shape of a table and chair, as well as the door. What normally would be a windowed door is instead just a flat wall now.
Cool.
The exit door, I should say.
I'm gonna step inside. I'm gonna go check this desk for anything.
Wits investigation.
1 success!
Alrighty! Taking a look inside, you find what appears to be a composition notebook. It has some hand notes scrawled upon it, though it's not in any handwriting you recognize since you've seen everybody who lives here's handwriting. It says, "The first step is a tithe, a way to entice the guests into our home. A table should be set, adorned with fine china and porcelain. Oak leaves are to be set out in place of napkins, and what drink glasses there are must be filled to the brim with pine tar. The second step is to set each empty seat with a mirror. All participants must sit facing their own mirror for 2 hours before the witching hour. As the clock tolls, the guests will arrive and the game begins."
Just... Okay. And there's nothing else on the desk, really.
There is not, but you did gain a mostly blank composition notebook.
Right? I am not even gonna fuck with the other side. Just gonna check under the door, see if there's anyone out there, and then go through into the hallway.
Oh, back up to the top?
Yeah.
Okay. Perception for me.
1.
Immediately, you hear footsteps again. This time, it's the familiar footsteps of your own.
Gonna hide under the desk.
Go ahead and roll dex stealth.
1 success.
Once again, the footsteps stop at the doorway to the room you're currently in, and you can hear some rather impatient breathing behind. Out of frustration, the doppelganger kicks the door open. It's not enough force to break it. She's clearly not that strong, especially since the door itself was weak to begin with. But she does step in, brandishing the knife. Here's the thing that gets you, however, as you're watching her step through the room. She has the exact same facial expression as you currently. She paces around the room, circling the desk slowly, before walking up to where the door should be. She places her hand upon it, before angrily stabbing at the wall. And then she simply walks back up towards the door and exits. Soon enough, the footsteps end.
Gonna poke my head out and see if the wall was actually damaged.
It was. There are clear knife marks within the wall. However, behind the drywall appears to be this thick gray metal.
Cool. Gonna very quietly enter into the hallway now.
You step back out into the hallway, noting the clear absence of your doppelganger's footsteps. Instead, you are left merely with the sound of the clicking clock.
Remind me what the note said again.
Okay. The first step is a tithe, a way to entice the guests into our home. A table should be set, adorned with fine china and porcelain. Oak leaves are to be set out in place of napkins, and what drink glasses there are must be filled to the brim with pine tar. The second step is to set each empty seat with a mirror. All participants must sit facing their own mirror for 2 hours before the witching hour. As the clock tolls, the guests will arrive and the game begins.
Alright. Gonna check down the hallway. I don't see anything.
You see nothing but the dim light of the barely functioning overhead lights.
Just gonna quickly and quietly scramble up. Gonna check the door again. It's still locked.
Once again, placing your hand upon the metal bar yields nothing more than a dull clink. It is still locked.
Alright, is there a locker immediately to my left? Or
If you're
I mean,
facing the door, you're
like,
right.
From
Yeah.
the top, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do something kind of stupid.
Okay.
I'm gonna take whatever the cap for the bottle was, if it was a cork or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw it as hard as I can down the hallway to see if it can make a noise.
Okay.
And
This
then
would
I'm
be
going to
like
hide super fucking hard in this locker.
okay. Which direction are you throwing it? Are you throwing it this way or like this way?
I am throwing it like to that corner.
Okay. All right. So, do me a favor. Dex Athletics.
Luck die! Wait, no, athletics! Hold on. No, it's not a luck die. I actually have athletics. Oh, hold up. Oh my god.
Oh. You just softball that thing across the hallway and it makes a loud thunk against the wall at the end of the hallway, and you are quick to duck into that locker. Now roll a dex stealth as the loud stumbling footsteps of somebody sprinting towards you echoes through the hallway.
But I'm in a locker.
You didn't crit fail, so
Came near enough.
as you step into the locker, the moment the door shuts, you catch the glimpse. Oops. Gosh, typing. You catch the glimpse of the creature you'd seen before, the man bound in vines and thorns, his face covered by a theater mask, sprinting straight towards the corner of the room. He is moving inhumanly fast, probably about the speed of a car. He halts right at the bottle cap, staring down on it. A low, thumbling groan releases from his throat, like the dying death rattle of a patient who has been just put under meds. His head twists completely around, and he begins running with his legs facing the wrong way, back down the hallway. As he passes the locker, he vanishes, and so too does eventually those footsteps.
Fuck. Fuck. Okay. Gonna check both. Gonna look both ways before crossing.
Once again,
Apparently this man's a car.
looking through the hallway, you do not see any signs other than faint boot prints as to where he ran.
Oh shit! Actually, if he's leaving tracks, I'm gonna check him out. Is it like just a normal tread?
It's like faint tread that you'd see on combat boots. Usually the older ones that begin to rot away after they've been used for a really long time leave these little marks on the floor.
Okay, so it's just like rubber against like fucking against tile kind of shit, not like actually like mud or something that's being left behind.
Yeah, it's just rubber
Okay.
against tile. Though you do see that the marks seem to lead on towards the courtyard, and the moment they go out towards the courtyard, they vanish.
Okay, cool. Gonna check out the restroom here.
Okay. As you open the restroom door, you can see that the inside is barely lit. What once was a bright blue light that was used to keep the entire location well lit is now instead this dark crimson bulb. It shades the whole place in an uncomfortable color. And you can tell that the bathtub is currently full. The substance is translucent, though just from this distance you wouldn't be able to tell what it is exactly.
I'm gonna try the light switch. Does that turn off the light?
If you switch the switch off, it does turn off the light. Turning it on yields the same color.
I'm gonna unscrew the light bulb.
Unscrewing, are you doing it while the light is on?
While it is off.
While it is off, okay, good.
I'd rather not have an electrical shock, thank you.
I've shocked the shit out of myself doing that, and I was about to giggle. But you unscrew the light bulb, and you retrieve a single one of those puck lights that you see in hotel room bathrooms.
Okay.
You are left in pitch black.
Hey, so is the light bulb a filament bulb?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
Wait, mute.
Welcome back. Alright. So,
Also, when I saw myself, was I wearing shoes?
yes, you were.
Okay.
It was the exact same shoes you are currently wearing.
Okay, cool. I'm going to continue to avoid looking at the mirror and check out to see if there's anything else in here I could use.
What's investigation for me? Ow. The only thing you can find within the bathroom currently is within the sort of handicap stall, that being a box of tissues.
Hmm. I can't think of a clever use for tissues. So, instead I'm gonna go to the shower and try to unscrew the shower head.
Trying to unscrew the shower head yields no results. This is one of those old shower heads that's actually melded
Built
to
in,
the...
yeah. Fuck. I'm going to... Well, hold on. I'm gonna get close to the ground and check the stalls first. See if there's anyone in here.
All of the stalls peering underneath are empty.
To my knowledge. Yeah, I'm just gonna go into this one and see if I can't... I'm gonna see if the tank, is it currently full?
It is currently full, yes.
Okay. I'm going... Is there like a chain that has that opens the valve?
Yeah, it's a standard
Okay.
plunger setup.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can remove that mechanism.
Dex crafts.
Okay. Nope.
Through a little bit of fiddling around, you don't really manage to make any progress. Instead, the moment you pull the plunger up and you begin to pull it out, all of the water suddenly drains and you hear the toilet go dry.
Shit. I'm going to duck under the stall and move 2 down.
Okay. Trying again.
No, I just made noise. I'm hiding.
This wasn't that loud.
Okay.
Like when you chunked that thing, that was enough of a noise that you could have probably heard it all the way across the hallway. This was just like a toilet flushing. It wasn't that loud.
Okay. Gonna check under the door before going out to the hallway.
Perception.
1 success.
Alright. So, you hear the very, very slow footsteps once more. And peering under the door, you kind of angle yourself to where you can see what might be coming. It is the angel once more. It slowly paces up to the door and stops just in front of it. It gets really close to the door, nearly pressing its face against it, for it continues on just a little bit further, and then phases through the wall towards the handicap stall.
Just gonna fucking get myself out of here.
Deck
Very
stealth.
quietly. 1 success.
You manage to slip out the door. You can move up to your speed now. And your speed is just how many squares you can move.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I know that door is locked, so I'm gonna check this door.
The door is unlocked.
I'm gonna very quietly enter into this room.
And you're shutting it and locking it?
Yup.
Okay. Creature's turn. You hear the sound of wood giving way once more, as the creature seems to phase through the wall. The sack head droops low, as if somewhat disappointed. It begins walking straight downwards towards the lockers, disappearing when it's out of line of sight. The footsteps soon stop.
Is there a footlocker in here?
There is, yes. It is empty, but there is one.
Shit. Oh, is there a pillowcase on the pillow?
Yes, there is.
Okay, I'm gonna take that.
Okay, plus 1 pillowcase.
Alright, I'm gonna head back outside. Let's see. Gonna check the courtyard again.
Peering out into the courtyard, you are given nothing more than the sight of darkness. Of course, the standard feature you'd seen before still remains, that being the clock upon the pedestal.
I'm gonna very quietly slip out into the courtyard.
You step outside, and rather than being greeted by the sound of crickets chirping and the standard night affair, you're greeted with nothing more than absolute silence. Except, of course, the clock ticking.
Gonna give that shit the widest berth. Oh, actually. I'm going to take... This is weird. I'm going to take a handful of dirt.
Okay.
I'm going to put that in my pillowcase for later use.
Okay.
I'm going to check through this door. Is there anyone... Can I see anything in this hallway? Can I hear meat spin still going?
Meat spin is not going, and in fact...
Dang!
From where you're standing, you can see that it appears as if the computer inside of there has actually been taken away. You cannot see it. However, you can see in the hallway, and also here, is an identical one of those clocks, on a pedestal, ticking off slowly, minute by minute. Though once again, as with the fashion of the last one, all of its hands are pointing upwards, as if time was stuck still.
Well, it's a survival horror game, so therefore I must explore this area for useful items. I'm gonna very quietly enter into this hallway if I can.
Deck stealth. You make footsteps of your own as you step into this room, similar to the same kind that you get with your doppelganger. Though immediately, you don't see any results of this right out the gate. You are within, though.
Just check this cubicle. Is there a computer in this one, or are they all empty?
They are all empty, but the desks still remain. You could check the desk if you want.
Yeah.
What's
And check this desk. Nope.
Within, you find nothing more than dust and grime.
Cool. Yeah, check both ways.
Go around and check the other one.
Gonna give this as wide a berth as I can. What is this object that I'm next to now?
That is a coffee maker. And to the right of that is a few coffee packets. Like those instant coffees that are pretty much bitter as all get out, but yeah.
Is the coffee pot full currently?
It is empty.
Okay. I'm gonna take the coffee pot.
Okay. +1 coffee pot. G just walking around taking stuff.
Look, I've played Resident Evil. I could break off the handle and use it as a lever. I need a crank. Come on.
Somewhere, I guess.
I'm gonna go up to this cubicle.
Okay.
Trying to check this desk.
What's investigation?
Nope.
Followed by perception.
Uh-oh. 1 success.
This time, you hear your footsteps again. Coming from the stairs to your... You'd be facing the desk to your rear. They're slowly walking down, coming towards you.
Gonna shimmy under the desk. Gonna press myself against the wall. Be very quiet.
Deck stealth.
1 success. Oh, hold up. 1 success.
Your doppelganger comes into view, appearing just at the edge of your sight before it steps into this cubicle. You can hear it move the chair out of the way, and a low grunt similar to yours as it peers down and under the desk. It slowly gets up, tossing the chair to the floor with a loud thunk, before coming around towards your cubicle. You see her stop just in front of the desk and walk towards it, kicking the chair out of the way with mild annoyance before it leans down. It spots you.
I'm gonna shove the light bulb into its eyes.
It is not producing any light, but go ahead and roll a...
I just want to smash it into its eyes.
Okay, roll a... This would be improv whip, so with a -2 penalty. Strength weaponry?
No! Black tie!
Alright.
Bitch, I ain't here to fight!
So you swing this puck bulb at your doppelganger, and rather than hitting her, you just kind of chunk it across the room, and it smashes against the wall of the cubicle behind her. And she reaches out towards you. Her hand grips onto your shoulder, and she wrenches you out from underneath the desk. She looks up at you with the exact same expression as you, before suddenly, your vision goes dark. And you find yourself waking up on your bed with the same clicking, ticking talk of the clock outside in the hallway. The footsteps are gone, and there's no sign of your doppelganger anywhere. But for a moment you could have sworn it sounded like the clock ticked backwards for a moment, as if somebody vigorously rewinded it. Like the gears had been stretched and pulled.
Do I have my stuff?
You have all the stuff you had collected prior, yes.
Okay, good. Want to make sure I still have that Molotov. It's the most important shit that I have. Alright, just gonna check under the door.
Perception.
Two success.
Peering out underneath the door, you hear no footsteps and see no figures. Once again, it is nothing more than the dimly lit hallway that stretches on throughout the length of the building. You can still hear that clock ticking silently in the background.
Before I continue, I'm gonna quickly pinch the heel of my hand to see if I feel pain.
You do, in fact, feel pain as you do so.
Okay. Good. Just gonna check under the door before proceeding.
Perception.
Two success.
Peering under the door, you see the masked man standing up against the wall.
Which wall?
He's the wall where the door should be.
Okay.
He seems to be trying to peer through the windows that lead outside, sort of grinding his mask against the glass. After a few moments, he up and sprints out the door opposite from you.
Checking under this door.
The door he just left. Checking under the door. Roll perception.
Hold up. Okay, two success.
You catch the last few minutes, the last loud clunking of his boots as he sprints up the stairs.
Alright, there are stairs, aren't there?
Yep. These are the stairs up, and so are these. In the
What is on the second floor?
That would be where Miss McAllister stays and lives, as well as all of the extra storage from when the building was renovated.
Gotcha. Well, there is still one bit of information I need before proceeding.
Yes.
Not going near that shit.
Evade.
I'm gonna check this door. Is it locked?
Pressing your hand upon the bar that pushes inwards, it cranks about halfway but leaves with a dull knock. It is locked.
Checking this one.
Similar story. A loud clink echoes through the hallway. The door is, in fact, locked.
It's times like this that I wish I knew how to pick a fucking lock.
Throw yourself at it.
I'm gonna peer up the stairs.
Perception.
One success.
You hear the sound of the very slow footsteps beginning to come towards the stairs. However, it doesn't appear as if this creature has gotten close yet. You can only hear it from a distance.
Does it sound like it's approaching my location?
Yes, it is approaching the stairs to go downwards towards you.
Okay. I'm going to... Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna tuck myself into this cubicle.
Okay. Dex stealth.
3 success. Woohoo.
Okay. So, the sound continues, coming closer and closer, till eventually you catch sight of it just as it passes the cubicle. It continues walking onwards.
Which one was it?
It was the angel.
Okay.
Until eventually disappearing from line of sight. A few moments later, and the footsteps vanish.
Okay. I'm going to take that handful of dirt.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to spread a thin layer of it at the bottom of the stairs.
Okay. You do so.
And then I'm going to step over it as I head up the stairs.
Alrighty. Let me get things set up really quick. Now, I'm hoping you can control your token here, but...
If you just copy and paste the token from the previous map, then yes.
Okay, should be on the bottom right of the screen.
Yep, I see myself. And I have control.
Awesome. So, as you step up the stairs, you're led into a rather empty hallway. It goes onwards towards a flat-facing wall, one that is completely blank and white, with a single door at its center. Just to the right of that, there is a doorway that leads over to the catwalk that stretches over the courtyard below. You can see from here, through the window, that it is completely pitch black in that particular catwalk hallway, though you can tell that nothing is in there.
Okay. I'm assuming these are rooms that, like, Miss McAllister said, like, hey, don't fuck with this shit, right?
Pretty much.
Cool, I know there's good shit in here then. I'm gonna check under the door.
Perception.
2 success.
2 success. Alright. Taking a look under the door, you find yourself peering into a room filled with crates and old medical equipment. Towards the far end of the room, you can see what looks like an old curtain, drawn completely out. There are crates towards the north, each holding what appears to be old needles and syringes, as well as several straps that were once used to hold down patients. To the bottom of the room, there's another cot, and just above that are several rolls of leftover blankets. You can see an old machine that was meant for blood transfusions closest to you on the right, though the place itself seems dark and empty.
I'm gonna try the handle.
You place your hand upon the steel handle, twisting it to try and make it turn. However, it blocks your entry. The door is locked.
Well, of course it's not that simple. Gonna peer under this doorway before going into the hall.
There is a window you can see straight through.
Mhm.
Out in the hallway, you see nothing but an empty hallway leading on towards a flat-faced door, which is the other wing of the building.
Are there windows that line the walkway?
There are windows that line the walkway, yes, that lead out, that you can see into the courtyard.
All right, cool. I'm gonna stay very low so that I would not be able to be seen through the windows.
Okay. Good.
And I'm gonna peer through this window.
There
There is
no
one over
window.
here. Okay.
It is just a flat door.
I'm gonna try the handle.
Turning the handle works. The door opens up. You can see out in the room is nothing more than an empty space. To the right, you know that is Miss McAllister's room. The two doors are more or less were once the basic warden's chambers, the place where the old overseer of the asylum once stayed. Unfortunately, Miss McAllister has taken up that place of residence, but it is a pretty large room. She got a pretty large bed, and it has its own bathroom and shower, so that's nice. To the left, there are some leftover patient rooms that have been closed away for years. Probably in the interior is nothing more than collected dust. And at the far end of the hallway is an office room that contains Miss McAllister's desk and most of her personal effects for business.
Quietly move up to this door, and I'm gonna look under it.
Perception.
1 success.
Peering under the door, you see into an empty room, the floor decorated with carpets to try and cover up the rather dull and oppressive white alabaster that is the tiles below. You can hear quite loudly coming from this room is the sound of a ticking clock. If you had to guess, there's probably one hidden within there.
Alright. Gonna try the door.
Putting your hand upon the handle, it doesn't budge. The door is locked.
And gonna try the handle.
Similar thing. The door handle ceases to move. It is locked.
People with their fucking security. God damn it. Hate people who are smart. Gonna peer around the corner here.
You peer around the corner, looking in towards the hallway that leads to the large former reception area that would be Miss McAllister's entryway toward desk. Chairs have been moved. It appears as nothing more than an empty space at this point, but through the dim darkness you see nothing. Though, from a distance, it sounds like another ticking noise is coming from within the office room.
Gonna... I know this place's history as a psych ward, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna put a pin in that thought. Gonna check around the corner, make sure there's nothing in here that I'm walking into.
Peering around the corner, you do not hear the sound of footsteps, nor do you see anything coming close.
Gonna come over here and try to look under the door if possible.
Perception.
Hold up. 2 success.
Peering under the door, you see it opens up into a large office room. At either side, to your left and right, there are records. Basic... what are they called?
Filing cabinet.
Filing cabinets, yeah.
I got you.
They're a dull tan and gray. Pretty much the
Standard.
bargain bin, yeah. And ahead is a very large mahogany desk. Upon the desk...
Mahogany.
Yeah. Upon the desk appears to be a notebook page, one that would match the composition notebook. You can't really see what the writing is from this distance, but you can tell that it's there simply by it sort of haphazardly leaning off the desk. You can also see the end of a pedestal, the loud noise of a ticking clock upon the inside, just behind the chair.
I'm gonna try the handle.
The handle works. The door opens up for you.
Alright. Come inside. I'm gonna grab that notebook first and foremost.
Okay.
Flip through it to see if there's anything in there.
Reading this...
Well, actually, hold up. Before I start reading it,
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
come around the desk and tuck myself under it.
Okay, good. You duck underneath the desk. Reading the notebook paper, it says this. It is scrawled, once again, in a handwriting you do not recognize. And the page itself seems to be rather dirty, as if somebody had placed it into the mud or had dragged it through the dirt a little while. Whilst playing the game, time stands still. When the guests catch you, time moves back. The only way for time to move forward is to find the clocks. Moving time forward on the clocks will progress the clock an hour forward. Your goal is to reach 6 a.m. Upon reaching 6 a.m., the game will be over and you will have won. But any time the guests have stolen from you will be theirs forever.
Bunch of fucking bullshit. Alright, I'm gonna start checking this desk for loot.
Oh, it's investigation.
God, I need to put some points into wits and investigation. Hey!
You find something very important inside of this desk.
Hooray!
First and foremost, it would be the key to Miss McAllister's quarters. Locked within, or not locked, but kept within one of the drawers upon her desk. Another thing you find is what appears to be a single janitor's key. This janitor's key is known to unlock most of the wards downstairs and the storage room.
Sweet, I pocket both of those. Finally, a fucking break. Gonna check the filing cabinets.
Okay, so here's another thing. You find what looks like a floor plan within this particular filing cabinet. It shows the pre-renovation spec of the building, and it looks as if there were once a path that led downwards underneath the psych ward itself, beneath the leftmost flight of stairs. It looks like it was sealed up by brick, however, during the renovations.
Okay. So inside the filing cabinet, does this appear to be where she's keeping? Does she have any files on the people who have been staying here?
She does not have any files on the people staying here. Most of the files that she has in there are mostly like business transactions that she's done for her website and her search engine.
There's not any like loose bonds or anything, right?
No, there aren't
Okay.
any.
I wanted to steal something and get money. I'm gonna check the other filing cabinet just in case.
As you reach into the second filing cabinet, you find something quite interesting. In contrast to the legal work, this appears to be something more old-school military in documentation style. It says, the psych ward was used to house individuals who received PTSD or other mimetic infirmities whilst within the exclusion zone. More detail can be found within the lowest part of the basement within this psych ward.
And there's is there any like official documentation over like what the psych ward actually did, or is it like all redacted kind of shit?
It's mostly redacted, but from what you can gather, this psych ward was mostly meant to house troops who were working on the nuclear tests up north. People who had been receiving some pretty hefty PTSD from watching explosions and receiving some of the rather inhumane testing.
Neat. I'm just gonna commit all that shit to memory. Check under the door.
Ooh, perception.
Oh. 2 success.
Alright. Looking under the door, you see a very familiar figure walking up through the hallway. The footsteps only becoming apparent when they're nearly touching the doorway. It looks like this doppelganger of yourself has gotten a little bit better at being quiet.
Just gonna tuck myself under the desk.
It steps close to the door and turns the handle slowly. Dex stealth for me. as your doppelganger steps into the room. Her hollow footsteps
fucking...
more loud as they peer inside. Now to do her roll.
Of course.
Have that many automatic. Okay. She seems a bit impatient this time, turning around and twisting around to try and catch any glimpse of you in the corners rather than going into outright searching. She turns around and walks out the door, disappearing behind the edge and out of your field of view, before eventually the footsteps vanish as well.
Alright. I'm gonna go up to the clock now.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can't set it to an hour ahead.
As you push the hand forward, and the clock winds outwards, you see the clock slowly begin to fade. As it reaches 1 a.m., the clock vanishes just in front of your eyes, fading away until there's nothing.
Gotcha.
The
I'm
ticking
gonna...
clock. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
You can still hear from across the hallway the ticking clock coming from McAllister's room is easy to hear.
Gonna stop by the door, peer outside.
Perception.
Fun success.
Taking a look outside, you hear and see no signs of any intruders. The place is completely empty.
Just gonna fucking book it down this way.
You're running?
No. Just
Okay.
walking fast, faces fast, and I'm homebound. Diddle-diddle-diddle. Okay, I'm gonna quietly head up to this door now.
Okay.
Check under the door.
What's perception? Or what's perception? Perception!
To a success.
Looking underneath the door, you're greeted with the sight you'd seen before. The gaudily decorated room and the solitary bed in the distance. It appears empty, thankfully.
I'm gonna unlock the door.
You place the key into the hole, and with a low clunk, the door unlocks, and you are given entry.
Gonna get my shit inside of there. I'm gonna check under the bed, under the pillow, under the mattress, inside the pillowcase. I'm gonna turn this bed inside out to find if she has anything that I can use.
What's investigation?
Nope.
So basically tearing this bed apart, stripping it clean, and even going so far as to unzip the mattress to see what's inside, you find nothing more than the fluff on the bed and a very heavy duvet.
Great. Gonna check under the door for the restroom.
It's pretty easy to see. You can find yourself staring into a traditional looking bathroom meant for one person. You can see a glass shower straight on, as well as a toilet to the right next to it. Within the shower, you see another one of the clocks.
There's a mirror in here, isn't there?
There is a mirror. It is right behind the toilet.
Okay, I'm gonna... Sorry, that placement for a mirror is just really weird to me. I'm gonna avoid looking at the mirror, and then go over to the shower, step inside, and set the clock 1 hour ahead.
So as you step inside and you look upon the clock's face, you notice it has indeed progressed to 1 o'clock, just as you'd set it before with the clock behind you. As you set the clock forward, another whirring of mechanical gears fills your ears, and slowly, the moment it reaches 2 o'clock, this clock fades away.
I'm gonna step out. Wait, hold up. Is there shampoo in here?
There is, yes.
I will take a bottle of shampoo.
You have gained 1 bottle of shampoo.
Gonna check under the door, see if anyone's checking out the room.
Perception.
Do. 3 success.
You're lucky you caught yourself. Because the moment you peer under the door, you see your doppelganger standing right there in the center of the room. She's waiting. Clearly she knows somebody came in here. Not much so is painted on her face, though she seems to wait just a few minutes rather than actually search. Instead, she seems to dismiss the idea of someone being here and walks out the door you had unlocked. Vanishes.
Okay. Very quietly head over to the door I had not unlocked and peer under it.
Perception.
1 success.
As you take a look outside into the hallway, you see no signs of anyone being there currently. Instead, it's just an empty room leading into a hallway.
Gonna unlock the door.
The key slides in. A hollow clunk signifies it's unlocking. You can pass through.
And then when I close the door, I'm gonna relock it.
Okay. You lock the door once more, the metal finding its place within the wood.
Can I check on the door?
Perception.
Three success.
As you look under the door, you find the angel standing directly in the center of the hallway, its sacked head facing out towards the window, peering across into the hallway in this direction.
Gonna
It
wait
is
for
standing
a few
motionless.
seconds.
It remains standing still, simply watching, being completely still.
Gonna... Just gonna head back into the bedroom and then to the bathroom. And I'm gonna fill the coffee pot with water.
With a little bit of philandering, you do manage to fill the coffee pot with water.
Gonna check under the door before going back into the bedroom.
The bedroom is empty.
Alright. Gonna check under the door before exiting.
As you peer under the doorway, you catch a glimpse of the running masked man, just as it sprints from the Miss McAllister's office down towards the doorway of the other hallway. It's moving fast, and it runs straight through the door, all the way across down, until eventually the footsteps and its visage vanishes.
Gonna check under the door. Is the angel still there?
The angel is still standing there, staring, watching out into the dim courtyard and across the way.
Alright. Gonna check around the corner.
You see nothing, just a hallway leading on.
Gonna check this first door.
As you open up the door... Oh, you're checking under, sorry?
I wanted to...
Okay. Checking under the door, you find a single cot, covered in a thick layer of dust, as well as what looks like a chamber pot towards the corner of the room. There is a single sink, which all of the plumbing has been completely removed from, just next to the door, though otherwise the room is simply empty.
Gonna check the handle if it works.
The door is unlocked. You are able to walk inside.
Yeah, I'll head inside. Is this like a counter here for like?
Right here, right?
It's like a medical exam room, right?
Yeah, it's just a metal counter that has like a sink indent in it.
Okay. Are there cabinets?
There are not cabinets.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be anything stored in here.
No.
Okay. Then fuck that. I'm gonna check under the door.
Perception.
2 success.
Peering under the door, you are given the glimpse of nothing more than an empty hallway, though you can feel the presence of the angel's eyes bearing down upon it.
I'm going to open the door very slowly and quietly, and then just fucking army crawl my way.
Dex stealth.
so that I'm underneath the window. Yeah. Oh no! Can I burn some willpower to roll extra, or how does that work?
If you spend a willpower, you get to choose one of 3 things. Let me pull that up really quick.
That's all you risk a willpower.
Oh, okay.
Normal is just 3 dice.
Okay. That's my B. So, if you're just risking a willpower, then you get an extra 3 die upon your roll.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Well, I've got fuck tons of willpower, so let's do it. Hell yeah! Hold on.
Nice.
Good spend.
Yeah, risking a willpower means that you basically risk the last willpower you have, where if you succeed, you can get another willpower back after spending it. And yeah, you either succeed or you crit fail.
I become Splinter Cell.
But yes, you drop down to the floor in a Metal Gear Solid style, begin slowly crawling your way through the hallway. You don't hear the sound of slow footsteps, and as you make it about halfway through the hallway, you feel the presence of the creature's eyes disappear.
I'm gonna check under this door.
Perception.
Nope.
The only thing you notice is that upon the floor has been scattered a thin layer of dirt. No footsteps are put upon it.
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna try the handle.
The door is unlocked, and turning the handle works.
That mega bitch.
It's you.
I'm gonna go back to the other door and check under it.
The moment you make it to the door, you hear in a low groan, "I hear you." As you see the angel slowly beginning to come around the corner.
Question.
Yes.
How thick does the glass of the windows look?
There isn't glass on this side.
No, I meant like into the one that goes into the courtyard.
It's like bulletproof glass.
Shit.
You know how they have it on schools where it's like that wire frame? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Psych ward and all. Yeah, I'm just gonna shimmy and shake all the way back to the other door.
Okay.
And I'm gonna slip on through.
You make it just through the doorway as the angel pushes and materializes through the door it intended on walking through.
I am not waiting around. I'm just gonna unlock this door with the janitor key and slip on through.
As you push into the room, you find yourself standing right next to a very large curtain, surrounded by a bunch of leftover junk. You can still hear the slow and calculated footsteps of the angel as it's coming closer and closer.
I would like... you said there were open crates earlier, right?
Yes.
When I checked in. I'm
Filled
gonna find
with
one of those...
syringes and belts.
Filled with syringes! Great! Oh, fuck. You said one was filled with belts, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna see if I can tuck myself into that one.
Dex stealth.
I'm not gonna fuck with... Look, I know Saw. I'm not doing that shit.
You manage to hop into that belt box and you bury yourself in like one of those spiders burying themselves into the sand. You see the creature slowly warp through the door, walking in through the hallway, its feet leaving echoing footsteps through the room, though it does not stop as it passes you. Instead, it continues onwards, going towards the door and stepping through it, and vanishing. Slowly, the footsteps vanish with it.
Gonna wait 10 seconds.
And you were right to. Cause not more than 5 seconds later, the very silent doppelganger steps into the room.
Ah, fuck it. I got your fucking number.
You knew what would happen, and I applaud you. This time, she takes the time to look around, however. She paces around the room, remaining completely silent. She checks underneath the bed. Finding nothing, she returns backwards, going over to a locked crate just at the edge of the room. She kneels down towards it, pulling upon the lock itself. But it's kind of strange considering how this particular crate wouldn't be able to hold a person. A bit dissatisfied, your doppelganger stands up, very quickly exits the room.
Gonna wait another 10 seconds. Just up there, quietly applauding herself for quick thinking and being top bitch.
As time slowly passes, nothing remains but the sound of the ticking clock coming from downstairs.
Alright. I exit my cardboard box. I am still Solid Snake.
Yes.
What else is in this room?
So, over here are two what look like oil drums, though just from looking at it you can't really tell what's inside. It's sealed, and you'd probably need some kind of leverage to pop the cork out of it. Up here is what looks like a curtain. It's been drawn completely open, and you can see that it's basically standing on two rubber stoppers. It's sort of like one of those good old-fashioned improvised...
Oh, so I can see the wall behind it, like the curtain's not drawn.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Because that's Horror 101.
Yeah. Over here is the boxes full of syringes and belts. Right here is one of those blood bag stands. It's made out of metal, and it's about chest height to you. It's not a big one. This is rolls of leftover sheets and bedding. It appears as if they've been tucked together quite tightly and bound with a belt. This appears to be one of those old-fashioned blood transfusion machines. There's nothing inside of it currently, but you can also see that the dials on the front have been broken, the glass far beyond any form of repair. Over here is a leftover cot, though the pillow and sheet still remain upon it, and there is in fact a single stand on the top left of it that would probably be used for blood bags. This, of course, is the lockbox that your doppelganger tried to open.
I'm gonna take a few syringes.
Okay.
I'll take like say like a handful, like maybe like 5 or 6.
Okay.
The lockbox has a lock, yes.
Yes.
Okay. My intuition says I need to get in this lockbox, but I don't think it's happening. I'll try the 2 keys that I have.
You'd be surprised. The janitor's key works.
Excellent.
The lock pops open, and the lockbox opens up for you. Inside, you find a single screwdriver. Flathead. And it's heavy duty, too.
Hell yes. Screwdrivers. Screwdrivers are always good. I'll take it. Is that it?
That is it.
I will now go over to the oil drum and try to pop it open with a screwdriver.
As you pop the top off of the oil drum, you find within is not oil, but in fact a large vat of crimson red. It is blood. However, at the very bottom, there appears to be what looks like a brick. There is an inscription on the edge of the brick, though you can't quite read it through the crimson.
I'm going to go ahead and dip my hand a little bit into blood.
Okay.
Just like my fingertips a little bit. And then I'm going to use that bloodied hand to draw the curtain closed.
Okay.
I don't know. Try to throw him off a bit.
You do so. You manage to close it shut with your bloodied hand.
Fucking wipe the blood off.
Okay. You wipe it off, I'm assuming, on the curtain?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll wipe it off on the other side so that you wouldn't be able to see it if you just walked in.
Gotcha.
I don't know, maybe they're stupid. I'm gonna check under the door.
Perception.
1 success.
Peering under the door, you see no evidence of anybody coming by besides the footsteps that you, the angel, and your doppelganger had left earlier.
Okay, so the angel did leave footsteps.
Yes.
Where did they lead?
They led up towards this hallway, whereas your doppelgangers...
Oh, right, because it came in through this fucking door, right?
Yeah.
And where do my doppelganger's footsteps go?
Down this way.
Okay. As I exit, I'm going to try to follow her footsteps exactly so I don't disturb any more dirt.
Dex Athletics.
Hey!
Oh, shit.
1.
You got it. So, with as much agility as you can muster, you slowly follow the exact steps of your doppelganger towards the stairs leading downwards. Are you gonna head down?
Hell yes, I am.
Alrighty.
I beat this floor.
Floor beaten. Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do!
Okay. Sorry, just getting things set up. As you step down, you are once again greeted with the familiar sound of a clock ticking, as well as the sound of footsteps pacing through the hallway.
The one that I'm currently in?
Yes. They are loud, and they are running.
I'm gonna... Well, shit. I'm gonna peer back and forth real quick. Just very quietly, not trying to be seen.
Dex stealth. This will be a hiding in plain sight. Or darkness. Either works.
Hey! Oh. 2 success.
You got lucky, kid.
Luck ain't got nothing to do with it. All skill.
All skill. You spot the runner sprinting down the hallway from the stairs on the opposite end. It goes incredibly fast, straight towards the door out into the courtyard. Turning on heel to go that direction, phasing through the clock on the other end and stepping beyond towards the hallway on the opposite side of the building, before eventually the sound of its footsteps and it vanish.
Pat myself in the fucking back. gonna set this clock ahead an hour.
You set the clock ahead, pushing the hands forward from the 2 o'clock to the 3 o'clock position. The whirring noise of the clock moving forward fills your ears once more, and slowly, the clock vanishes.
Cool. I'm gonna shimmy around the area that it was, because I don't fuck with that. And then I'm gonna see if the janitor key works on the cafeteria.
The janitor's key does indeed work. Sliding it into the key slot, there is a low thump as the door unlocks.
Gonna enter quiet and low.
Deck stealth.
1 success.
You manage to slip in, shutting the door behind you without too much of a ruckus. You feel relatively secure, considering how quietly you entered.
Alright. Which table had the offering on it?
All of them have individual offerings. The only ones where the pine tar was drank would be this one.
You said that there were 3 that were consumed, right? So
Yes.
this one still has it in?
This one, all of them have glasses of pine tar, but this is the one with the 3 that are missing.
Gotcha. Do I see any mirrors laid down on the tables?
The mirrors are opposite where the pine tar glasses are. Like, they'd be on the chairs that are closest to you.
Alright, cool. I'm going to collect the mirrors. I'm not going to look in them. And, gonna try, I'm gonna scoot myself under the table.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to, one by one, place one of my hand towels over the top of the mirror, and then try to break it.
Alright. I gotta think about this. Dex sleight of hand?
There's not a sleight of hand.
Or not sleight of hand. Give me a moment, I apologize.
Larceny?
Yeah,
would be
Dex
the-
larceny.
Okay. Well, that's a luck die. Nope.
The first mirror you shatter lets out a loud crack. Loud enough to be...
The hand towel doesn't help at all?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
It echoes throughout the hallway, and you hear the loud footsteps sprinting at you once more.
Alright, cool. Does this... yeah, I'm fucking just gonna kick the mirror so that it, to be under this table, and then hide under this table.
Okay.
Just slide it across the floor away from me. I don't actually care where it lands. Just away from me.
I get ya. The masked man sprints in, running around the table and then sliding down to immediately peer under where he'd heard the sound from. There's a low groan of unhappiness, a gurgling churl that emanates from its throat, before it very quickly spins around and sprints out the door you'd come in. Eventually, he and the footsteps vanish.
And I'm gonna move on to the next mirror.
Dex sleight of hand?
Well, that didn't seem to actually do anything for me, so... I'm gonna take the rest of the mirrors and put them in my pillowcase.
Put them where, sorry?
I'm gonna take the... Actually, no, there's like glass on the ground now, isn't there?
Yes.
I'm gonna gather that up and put that in the pillowcase.
You do so.
Then I'm going to work it in the pillowcase to see if I can grind it down into, like, dust, or at least smaller shards.
Strength crafts.
Using the hand towel to protect my hands.
Yeah, strength crafts.
No.
It produces a few.
I can't get it
Sound-
super small.
Yeah, it produces the sounds of glass grinding against glass, but it doesn't necessarily feel like you're making any progress.
Damn it. I wanted a black bag. There's plenty of useful things in a kitchen. I don't want any of it. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna unlock this door with a janitor key.
A loud metallic clunk later, and the door's unlocked. You're
And
free
I'm
to move forward.
I'm
Oh.
going to quietly slip through here.
You do so, stepping out into the hallway with the wooden lockers to your left. You're in an empty hallway. There are no signs of footsteps.
I'm gonna check both ways.
The hallway is empty.
And gonna slide up on here, check out into the courtyard.
Peering into the courtyard, all you see is the single clock you'd left in its place before.
I'm gonna look up into the walkways to see if I see anything up there.
Perception.
Hey, hold up. Hey, hold up.
That's a crit.
Holy shit, 6.
So 2 things. First, you were right to look up towards the catwalk, because a little bit of peering, diving in beyond the darkness of the leftmost catwalk, you can see your doppelganger staring down at the clock. Seems to be watching it like a hawk, just staring at it menacingly. The second thing you catch is that underneath the stairs on the far right side portion to you, right here, it appears as if what once was flat rock now looks like a doorway.
Excellent.
You can see it leads on into darkness. There are stairs leading downwards.
Alright, I'm gonna let her just chill there for a minute. Then I'm gonna come over to this door that I remember being locked. I'm gonna see if the janitor key or Miss McAllister's key works on it.
Miss McAllister's key works on it.
I'm gonna shimmy and shake on in.
As you do so, you see the exterior of the clock, similar to the one you see out in the courtyard, made of wood and cast upon a pedestal. This one is set to 3 o'clock.
Hello, beautiful. I'm gonna set it ahead an hour.
You set it ahead 1 hour, and slowly, as the hour hand reaches 4 o'clock, the clock itself vanishes.
Is there a footlocker in here? I'm blocking the door actually really quick.
You relock the door, and yes, there is a footlocker in here.
Is it filled with anything?
Opening up the footlocker, you find what looks like an egg timer.
Hell yes. I'm taking that shit. Because that's the single most useful thing I found so far. Other than my Molotov. Alright. I'm gonna peer under the door. Check the hallway.
Perception.
2 success.
As you peer underneath the door, you are not met with the sound of footsteps, nor any sort of low groans. You do not see any phantoms or images, but simply the dim hallway beyond.
I'm gonna go over to Norm. Sorry, just. I'm gonna look back up at the catwalk. Is she still there?
As with your crit success before, yes, she still remains staring at the clock.
No one's on the other one, right?
No one is on the opposite one, no.
Okay. Checking under the door.
Perception?
To success.
Looking under the door, you see no sign of anyone within, simply the darkness of the room beyond, and the single table and chair, solitary.
Check in under the door.
Peering under the door, you see nothing more than an empty hallway, though you can hear coming from the new doorway that has opened up, the sound of ticking.
Checking under the door.
It is an open doorway. All you can see is stairs leading downwards into pitch black.
Cool. Gonna very quietly, very quietly, making double sure to be quiet this time, gonna start sneaking down.
Okay. As you step downward, you find yourself walking into what appears to be an old, dilapidated military infrastructure type location. The floor is made out of concrete rather than tile, and it looks as if no effort had ever been put into place setting up any form of flooring whatsoever. The walls are of a rusted and brown metal, and the whole area reeks of iron. Ahead of you, you can see what looks like doorways leading inwards. However, these doors are, well, they seem to be bashed inwards. The metal doors wrenched and wrecked beyond the point of being able to be moved.
Did they look like they were forced this way or forced that way?
They look like they were forced this way.
Okay, so something escaped, wasn't going in. Just gonna quietly peek my head around.
Looking into the room through the very small hallway with the double metal doors, you can see that beyond is another large and empty metal room. What once was long lines of filing cabinets are now nothing more than remnants of rust and old metal. The only thing that does catch your eye is upon the single desk towards the far end of the room is one of those other military papers. This one significantly more well preserved than anywhere else within the building here. You can also see that there is in fact a clock resting upon the table.
Gonna just take a quick scan of the room, see if there's anything lurking in the corners.
So you will not be able to push in through that door. The door is actually so damaged and so heavily warped within its housing that it's not able to move.
It's on a hinge, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I unscrew the hinge with the screwdriver?
It's like, have you ever seen the sub doors?
Oh, okay, so yeah, it's integrated hinge, not a...
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Cool.
But if you were to look in the darker corners of the room, you do not see anything inside.
Okay. I'm gonna check the other door, see if it's just as fucked.
Similar story. The metal is so heavily warped and so grievously bent that it's going to be impossible to get that to budge.
Cool. Cool. I know what you want from me as a GM. I don't want to do it, though. Alright. Well... Just gonna... Wait. The doors are metal, right?
Yes.
Okay. Never mind. I'm gonna head back upstairs.
Okay. You head back upstairs, finding yourself on the first floor once more.
Checking the hallway.
The hallway is in fact empty. The only company you have being the ticking of the clock.
Alright. Gonna sneak my ass on up this way.
You slowly make your way down the hallway, your own footsteps hollow reminders of your own existence within this empty place.
I'm gonna crank that egg timer, yo.
Hollow clicks of plastic against metal ring out in a sonorous applause as you set up the egg timer.
And then I'm gonna hide it under the chair in the cafeteria.
You perch it upon the underboards of the chair, and it
I'm gonna
begins ticking down.
Give myself a minute.
Okay.
I'm gonna exit. Well, actually, I'm going to go over to this door, lock it.
Okay.
Go over to this door, exit, lock it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over to this cubicle, and hide, and wait.
Okay. Are you going under the desk, or are you just sitting in that corner?
I'll head under the desk.
Okay. So, a few moments later, and the shrill pang of the egg timer goes off, echoing through the hallways. It's not long until all 3 footsteps can be heard. First, it's the running man. He sprints in, turns a corner, and goes headfirst into the door. Smacking up against it, he smashes his face, the mask, against the glass panel that lines the exterior of the door. Dissatisfied that it's locked, he sprints over to this direction, to the other door. He pushes it open and rushes over to the egg timer.
Wasn't that one locked too?
It was.
Shit.
Following soon after that is your doppelganger. She's a bit slower, though her pace is much more hurried, enough to bar any signs of her silent movement. She makes it just behind the running man and begins inspecting underneath as well.
In the time between her arrival and the angel, who I know is a lot slower, I want to see if I can dash out to the courtyard.
Okay. Strength athletics.
To success.
Alrighty. You manage to make it out in the courtyard before the angel is able to catch a glimpse of you, as it walks down the stairs quite slowly. You are in the courtyard, and they cannot see you right now. They are all distracted by the sound of the ringing egg timer.
Set that shit ahead an hour.
As with before, the clock lets loose a mechanical whirring sound as it sets from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The clock vanishes.
As soon as it goes, I just go up through this door. I'm gonna chill out in a locker for, let's say, a couple minutes.
The creatures disperse. First, the angel, stepping through the wall, beginning a slow gait up the stairs, and eventually vanishing. Your doppelganger seems to be the next to leave, betraying the patience of the masked man. She very quickly runs back towards this side, turning the corner nowhere near as fast as the running man can make it, and she begins a very quick gait towards the stairs on this end. The running man, however, makes a long haul out this way, sprinting out into the hallway on this end. bursting through the doors with all his strength. And he runs straight across this way. You hear his footsteps growing louder as they come closer towards the cabinet, though it appears as if he has no interest in searching them. He runs towards this direction, diving beyond the doors to the entryway, the atrium of this building, for his footsteps vanish as well.
All right. Checking under the door. You know the
Perception.
drill.
Yeah. It's gotten a bit darker on the interior, or maybe your eyes have adjusted for a little bit brighter light. You can't really tell any sort of changes from within this room beyond the fact that there is the desk and chair, the silhouette still plainly clear against the ebony of the backdrop.
Gonna head inside. Suddenly got very paranoid. Can I check under the desk before I approach it?
Yes, perception.
Okay. 1 success.
Looking under the desk, you see nothing more than darkness and the walls of the under chamber of the desk itself.
Okay, so she's not that smart. I'm gonna check under the door.
Perception.
2. Right. Oh. 3 success.
Success! Your eyes are met with nothing more than the dim lit hallway beyond. However, something has changed. What once led down into pitch black, the stairs, now seems to be relatively well lit. You can see even from here, what was rusted metal now appears to be well kept.
Gotcha. Gonna peer down the staircase.
Looking down the staircase, you see it leads on to the long hallway that you'd seen before. It appears as if the concrete is swept up, there's no debris. The walls are nice and clean, the standard gunmetal gray that most military installations are constructed out of. You don't hear anybody or detect any signs of anybody down there.
Before I head down, I want to take a very close look at the steps, seeing how my doppelganger is smarter than the other two, and I want to see if it's set up any traps for me.
Wits investigation.
Fuck. Nope.
You see no signs of traps.
I'll head down.
You begin to head downwards. Let me just get you down here. And the moment you make it to the very bottom floor, you detect two things. First and foremost, there's a very loud ringing sound in your ears. You just barely missed it. There's a tripwire put up in place.
Yep.
At either side of the doorway, there were 2 bells set up to ring the moment the tripwire was trapped. However, the other thing you notice is that the once completely damaged metal doors are now wide open.
Alright. Well, I'm sure something fucky is going to happen the moment I touch the last clock, so therefore, I'm going to light the Molotov cocktail and throw it up the staircase to light this entire place on fire.
Alright. I'm going to go ahead and draw out the shape of the fire really quick. Go ahead and do a Dex Athletics for me.
Oh no. No!
That's a crit fail!
Can I spend any willpower on it retroactively?
I'll allow it.
I'm not used to this game yet.
It's okay.
Hey!
It saved you. It literally saved you. That just saved you. At first, you fumble, pulling the Molotov cocktail out of your pack.
Nearly lit my ass on fire.
Sends several embers towards your clothing, and you just barely manage to pat it out in the same motion that you throw it straight towards the staircase.
I imagine like I light it and then like fumble with it and then kick it up the stairs as it almost crashes against my fucking feet.
Indeed, that's what you do. You just sort of catch it up and throw it up the hallway, and it makes contact with a staircase below, erupting into a large blaze. Your doppelganger is soon behind it.
I flip her off and head towards the door.
As she reaches the flame and sees you flipping her off, she just gives you a disappointed look. But yes, you can sprint over towards the doorway. It is wide open.
Getting my ass inside.
Alrighty. You are inside. The fire's still burning, but you can hear the louder running footsteps coming from behind the doppelganger. Only to stop at the blaze. You reach the clock. What do you do?
I read the file.
Alright.
I've got like my finger against the needle, and I'm just starting to read the file.
The file reads this. June 24th, 1943. Nuclear blasts have proven useful in the creation of what our scientists are calling holes. It has been found that explosions of upwards to 4 kilotons of TNT per metric ton have been the most effective means of generating these holes. I'll actually write this out for you after I finish reading this,
Okay.
so... let me get your... There it is.
I wouldn't be able to forget it.
Without risking a space larger than 10 cubic feet in all directions. Rudimentary testing has proven these holes seem to act as beacons to those on the other side, with on the other side being in quotes. The vagueness of the statement can easily be left up to personal discretion. However, it is apparent that all entities which come from these holes vary greatly in both sentience and hostility. Any attempt to capture one of these entities is underway. And it details a specific location in Alaska. It's on the Arctic Rim, pointed up towards the northern oceans that lead up to the North Pole. Let me type out this message for you.
So,
Yeah.
just as a note,
Mhm.
After I finish reading all the pertinent details, all the shit I can read in what I'm assuming is a redacted document,
Yeah.
the moment I finish reading that, I want to pour the water from the coffee pot all over it to ruin it,
Okay.
and then I'll flip the, and I'll set the clock ahead.
The whirring mechanical noise activates once more. And slowly, it seems as if a man sitting on a chair begins to phase in behind you. You recognize this man. This was the doctor you'd met earlier today.
What'd you put me on?
He crosses his arms, and you realize something a bit different about him. Rather than wearing a doctor's gown or anything of the like, this man appears to be wearing what looks like a SWAT uniform. Of course, missing all of the badging and whatnot. It does appear quite similar to the police man who'd come in earlier, the one with the weapons on his belt and etc. He looks at you and he says, well, I was hoping this wouldn't happen. I was hoping that by messing around with the series of events earlier that you wouldn't have ended up within this game. It almost worked, but...
What the fuck did you drug me with?
I didn't drug you with anything. That little game is actually something pretty legit, and it is a serious problem for people who are normal. Now granted, that game isn't the reason why I'm here talking to you. The reason why I'm here talking to you, and he points towards that note is because you got to that before I did. And you read it.
And now it's wet and ruined.
Yeah, but you still read it. That means that pretty serious things could happen here on out. Mostly involving a little group known as Task Force Valkyrie. You ever hear about those stories where the government just swoops in and grabs you and you're completely gone and you're just, nothing is ever known, your existence never
Can we
happened?
skip, like, the whole preamble of you, like, being mysterious and all that and get to the actual information?
Alright, I have to take you on a plane to Japan. We're gonna be...
Excuse me?
Yep, you're gonna be put into witness protection within my organization. Now, not the organization that goes over to Africa and helps all the little children. No, my organization is known as the group Serenity. We work with forces beyond to ensure that catastrophe doesn't happen around the world.
Remember the jumping past the preamble.
Okay, well, you're getting on a plane with me to Japan, and you don't really have a choice.
I really don't have a choice because I don't have my Molotov still.
Well, I mean, a Molotov's not going to do you well against people running military equipment pointing assault rifles at you. And that would be Task Force Valkyrie, not me.
I was more implying I was going to light your ass on fire. What the fuck is happening right now?
That document that you read is so top secret that even the president himself doesn't know what it is. So, yeah, a lot of people are after you right now. A lot of people high up within the government, a lot of people who are occultists and crazy tinfoil hat wearing people. Now, granted, I am one of those people, but your life's in danger. So,
Oh, no shit.
like I said, if you want to skip the preamble, we're going to Japan. It's going to be a flight up through Alaska, and we're getting out of here.
Okay. Question.
Yeah?
This isn't, like...
You're not in that little game anymore, no.
Okay. So, the way I see it, either this is not happening, in which case this is a very intriguing dream, and so I see no reason not to comply. It's obviously going to be more interesting as we go along, or this is actually happening, and at which point it would be within my own self-interest to comply with the person saying that I die otherwise.
He nods, and if you're still convinced that this is a dream, he retrieves a thumbtack from his pocket and places it into your palm. He presses down on it himself, and it causes a very serious sharp pain running through your palm of your hand and up through your elbow. At which point he retrieves the thumbtack back and puts it in his pocket.
Ow?
You're not dreaming, this is actually happening.
Lots of weird things can happen in dreams.
He lets out a sigh. Well, do you want to die or do you want to go to Japan?
I've always meant to return back to the homeland. So, fuck it. I got nothing better to do.
He nods, at which point he begins walking out towards the exit, expecting you to follow him.
As we're going back up the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
is there fire damage on the stairs?
There is. It appears as if the metal has been charred somewhat. You can see the remnants of carbon buildup upon the actual quarter panels, which are rusted and old in appearance.
Is this a paid gig, being in witness protection, or are you just hiding me forever?
We're hiding you forever. You'll be fed. and you'll be given a house. But think house arrest.
How often am I going to be moved around?
Rarely. Well, it depends. If we get attacked, then you'll be moved.
Well, I guess that's your mistake to make. Let's go.
He takes you along and basically sits you down into this big black BMW SMG. Or SMG?
SMG!
God!
I'm inside a gun!
You are the bullet!
By the god.
big black
SUV.
And he gets into the driver's seat and begins he puts you into big black SMG. And he begins driving you outwards. About 3 hours pass. You guys are basically riding the highway for a really long time, and nothing more than the green of the forest around you pass beyond until eventually you find yourself coming upon this Bodunk airport that you didn't even know existed on the maps. You're driven out to the runway and brought directly to some old rundown looking hangar. Within appears to be one of those old Cessna planes, the prop planes that have really, really long range but are really, really fucking slow. But it's old tech. There's no signals coming off of it. There's no big radar or anything of the like. He stops the car out to the side of it, giving enough berth for the plane to actually move forward. He steps out and opens the door for you and says, "Right this way."
Yep. And she'll head over.
You're put onto the plane, and eventually you take off into the sky above. There's no radio traffic. He seems to have turned off all and every single bit of the pieces that would lead to you guys being tracked in one way or another. And eventually, you find yourself soaring through the air. Beyond one of the windows in the rather uncomfortable leather seat that you've been stuffed into, you can see you guys reach just above the cloud layer, drifting along its surface like a rock skipping across a lake. And eventually, you manage to sort of settle down, at least. The plane continues onwards for what seems like an eternity. Can't really tell, because all time just seems to slow down for you. I mean, let's be honest, you're really bored on a prop plane that is going slow. Suddenly, there's a bit of a shift. You see outside the windows, the engines of the planes had slowly begun to stop. The props and the engine's noise that was made before the cacophonous drone of machinery eventually begins to seize up. Outside, you can see dancing across the cloud line are ribbons of brilliant light. Northern Lights is the closest thing you'd be able to describe it. The night sky above portrays a massive abyss, black, with hundreds of brilliant white specks of starlight. The plane begins to descend. Not slowly and carefully like you'd expect a plane to land, but instead it takes a nosedive. You're belted up within the plane, and it begins to fall alarmingly fast, till eventually a loud explosion rockets out from the engines beside you. The window cracks as pieces of fragmented metal slap up against its side. And everything goes black. As you awaken, you find yourself sitting within the remnants of an airplane fuselage. You see ahead of you, and all around you, is a massive forest, a taiga, drenched in alabaster white, covered in snow. You hear the sound of wind whipping against the metal fuselage, but you also hear slight groaning coming from behind you.
Yeah. I'm gonna check my faculty, see if I'm dead, and then check on this noise.
You're fine. Somehow, this fall from the sky left you uninjured. But the thing that becomes quite alarming to you quickly is that it seems like all of your personal effects had been jettisoned during the crash. The only thing that remains would be... What was the one item you wanted to take?
A single carton of cigarettes.
That single carton of cigarettes.
I seem to have upset our kid.
As you unbuckle the seatbelts and right yourself, pulling yourself out of the plane, you're immediately hit with the sensation of numbness rocketing up from your fingertips and your toes. The frigid cold envelops you. But that's not much of your concern. Do you have tolerance for biology, or would you have any issues seeing a very heavily gored person?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Towards the back of the plane is Riley, the doctor. His body had been speared upon twisted metal, and his torso had been separated from his legs. By some miracle, he's left alive for a few seconds longer, a few moments to see you get up. Bits of flesh and blood litter the entirety of the back of the plane. He looks at you for one last moment before vomiting a healthy amount of blood, and eventually the light fades from his eyes.
Well then. Just gonna look around.
Perception.
Oh. 2 success.
As you step beyond the airplane's fuselage, you find that you are within a very large and dense taiga. Above, you can see heavy drifts of snow pouring down from the skies above, as well as thick laces of light, similar to the northern lights of the North Pole you've seen in documentaries before. Once again, you are frigid cold. We're going to go ahead and start off with your first point of exposure. You have now 1 less max HP until you find warmth. This is made manifest by sudden pains and scratching sensations which rocket up through your bones. It's as if the very heat from your body is being sapped from you, pulled and drawn out into the environment around you. Winds whip around the trees, and you hear no sign of civilization nearby, just emptiness, nothing.
Neat. I was looking for something different in my travels, and here I found it.
What do you want to do?
Survive. Cut to credits.
Survive!
Da-da-da-da-da.
So, do you want to, like, venture out into the forest? Or are you gonna sit around? Or whatever do you want to do? Should ask.
Yeah, I'm gonna loot Riley's body. See if there's anything worthwhile.
What's investigation? There's nothing left but hunks of meat, and what little blood has not frozen to the ground yet.
Body still warm?
Not anymore. It's already frigid cold.
Damn it. Just gonna use bits of it to warm my hands. Yeah, I'll fuck off now. Well, I'm gonna see if there's any, like... If I can, like, take a, like, fucking... broken-ass piece from the Cessna and, use it as just a very rudimentary form of protection for myself.
What's investigation?
1 success!
You managed to find about a dagger-sized hunk of metal. Now, granted,
Good enough!
if you run your fingers along even the place where it'd be decent to grip it at, you'd cut yourself, so you're probably guessing if you really were to make any work of this, you might also cut yourself while cutting something.
I realized that we never actually established.
Yeah?
What happened to the book?
It's gone. And
Like,
yes, keep in mind, that's part
Did someone
of my
did someone
notes.
take it? Does it take it from me?
Yeah, it's not in your
Okay.
inventory. So, right now what's on your inventory is the clothes that you are wearing, just your plain clothes, your cigarettes, and now the knife. The cigarettes don't weigh anything, but the knife weighs 1 pound.
Okay. I'm gonna label this as Cessna knife.
And you have gained knife. So what shall you do now?
I shall journey out.
So, you stumble beyond the wreck of the aircraft, pressing into the icy cold that threatens to sap what warmth you have trapped against your body. Every step is enunciated by the sound of crunching snow. As you push out beyond the brush, I would like for you to roll perception.
Oh shit.
Oh,
3
shit.
success.
Let me get my actual pictures from my documents here. As you're moving beyond, it isn't long until you also hear another set of footsteps, somewhere in the woods in the distance. They stop, and you immediately hear the voice of a woman. She sounds very heavily Scottish in accent, and she seems quite concerned by her tone. It's sweet and light, like honey against the wind. Jazz hands. Is anyone out there? The plane crashed hard. Are there any survivors? Hello?
I'm just gonna hide for a minute to size her, to try to get visual on her before I assess if I should step out into the open.
Okay. Go ahead and roll dex stealth.
Would this be considered moving in woods?
Yes.
Alright.
Let's look at my character sheet. Okay, lol.
3 successes.
Let me do her roll. Ha! Okay. So she seems to stumble into the clearing, into the area of the woods that you're currently at. her own footsteps quite light and dainty. And that's when you get a good look at her. She's a beautiful woman with long black hair, almost perfect looking, almost with a perfect looking face. She's wearing pretty thick clothing, fashioned of furs and leftover leathers. And upon her back is what looks like a cobbled together backpack filled with what looks like a bunch of old dry sticks and a few logs that have been gathered. Of course, this woman looks nothing like anybody you've ever seen before, but just by appearance alone, she looks like she should be on a magazine. Here is the reference I got, and it's specifically going to you.
What a cutie.
She doesn't look that strong. She isn't carrying very many weapons. It's kind of a miracle that someone looking as dainty and as pretty as this can make it out here in the wilderness. You know what? Fine, I'll put it into the Frostbite channel. But she seems to be slowly moving along, still calling out, "Hello? Is anyone there?"
I'm gonna quietly move up behind her, and yeah, I'm gonna place like the flat of the blade against her shoulder and say, "Don't move."
She stops and extends her hands upwards, obviously like the surrendering pose. She says very carefully, all right, I'm staying still. I'm just here to help. That's all."
Tell me something I don't know.
My name is Norma McCreary.
Tell me something less innocuous.
In this general location, there exists a single kind of mushroom, one that is dry and requires you to eat it with water. However, if you consume it, it acts as a form of antibiotics.
Does it contain psilocybin?
No.
I pull the knife away from her. You can turn around now.
She turns around and lets loose a pretty stressed out sigh as she drops the backpack she's wearing to the ground and withdraws the bits of wood, very quickly starting to fashion together a fire pit. She says to you, "Are you okay? Do you have any injuries?"
No.
Alright, let's get this fire started. It'll be good to have us nice and warm before we make it back to my base
Why
camp.
the fuck are you here? And why did my Cessna crash?
Well, there's a bit of an issue here, in this location. My name is Norma McCreary, as I mentioned before. I am a operator for a group known as Cardians. I'm here to investigate this sort of hole in the veil here. And, I don't expect you to know what the veil is, but it's sort of the thing that keeps...
It's the place that keeps the other side at bay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, with the veil gone here, some weird stuff happens to general technology, and on top of that, there's a lot of very, very scary men with very, very scary guns, pointing them at anybody who comes in or comes out. I've been sent here to basically try and figure out what made this hole, and to try and figure out if there would be a way to prevent it in the future.
Does the name Max Delbertos mean anything to you?
I've actually not heard of that information. Where'd you get it?
Task Force Valkyrie?
They let you get a hold of that?
I was asking if that meant anything to you.
Yeah, they're the guys who are currently on the border with the big guns and the scary men.
What was Riley's last name?
Riley. Let me look through my notes. Klein.
And did he say what group he was a part of?
Serenity.
And what about the group Serenity?
I've actually never operated with anyone from that group.
So you know about them?
I've heard about them, but that's about as far as it goes. At this point, she has the fire crackling. A warm sensation rushes over your body as it slowly begins to take its shape, a burgeoning flame providing you with reprieve from the icy cold surrounding you. Listen, I don't really have any kind of place for you to stay. That's going to be something that I might have to get you to figure out on your own, but
That's fine.
Since you're here, there isn't really much of a way out. And I can't exactly leave until I've figured out what's going on here, the history behind the place, and what might be causing this hole to slowly grow bigger over time.
Sounds like you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, so here's kind of a deal I could offer you. I can kind of bring you into Cardians because I need a reason to, on the paperwork sign something off so that higher-ups don't, terminate the whole operation and mark me as left for dead. So I'm going to go ahead and offer you a little bit of a addition to the group, to Cardians. I myself am a ace of spades. Now, how it's kind of a interesting means
like
of
the song?
the playing card, more like. We have a bit of a ranking system going from 2 through ace. Obviously 2 being the lowest, ace being the highest. And then that's designated even further by suits. If you're spades, that means you're the smart person. If you're clubs, that means you're, you hit things hard with stuff. If you're diamonds, then you bake stuff. And
She's like tuned out.
At the moment, I don't know what suit to give you, so I'm just going to give you 2 for now. The starting rank. Now, that's if you accept, of course. If you accept, I'll be able to get you out of here safely, and you'll be able to return to whatever life you had before. No strings attached. Anything you learn here isn't going to be wiped from your mind or anything crazy like that. We're not even going to bother with keeping your name within our logs after you're gone.
Where would I be returned to?
Wherever we can put you. Wherever you'd like to be put, I suppose.
Okay, and that's if I don't join, right?
That's if you do join. If you don't join, then I can't really help you out that much.
Okay. Sure.
She nods, reaches into her pack, and produces what looks like a playing card. This one, of course, without a suit. She hands it to you. Upon its surface is just the 2, denoting its number. At which point she motions for you to stand by the fire for a bit longer and says, "Alright, let's get as warm as we can. We'll travel back to my camp and try and get things squared away."
How many other people are working with you?
Right now, you're the only person I found. I do have some contacts with some of the people around here, but they're not exactly real familiar with me yet, so we can't really exactly rely on them.
Is this actually happening?
Considering that you're in the... this is GM talking. Considering that it's frigid cold and you're besides being literally hugging the fire, you can feel any part of you that's not close to the fire or is not facing the fire is basically painfully cold.
She's still asking, though.
Is this real? Okay. She looks at you with a very concerned expression. And then there's a moment of her realizing what you mean about that. She says, Let me think. I know this, but you do not. And I have not told you this yet, but I would like you to complete my sentence. Understand?
I'm following.
The year this exclusion zone was created was
1943.
incorrect. It was 1922. If that helps at all, this is real. That's as best as I can tell you, besides continuing to give you information that you do not know.
Okay. So what now?
We wait 30 minutes for you to warm up, and then we begin trudging through the snow.
Great.
At which point, we'll go ahead and give you a nice little shot of something.
It's Australia!
God. And I'm gonna go ahead and reveal that. Towards the center of the map is where the base camp is located. The Cardian symbol, or the Frostbite symbol, is the token for the group when session properly begins. Welcome to Alaska. You are currently within the exclusion zone.
Hooray!
I'll describe the camp once everybody is in there.
When
But-
you walk away. Credits.
10 out of 10. Welcome to Cardians Frostbite.
Yeehaw.